founded in partnership with American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station.
This is the Bloomberg Black Business Beat, sponsored by FidelityWealthManagement.com. Sports talent agency A&A Management, founded by Black twins Aaron and Andre Eanes, is thinking outside the box when it comes to creating opportunities for the next generation of sports stars. Growing up in Cleveland, the Eanes brothers watched their parents work as Burger King franchise owners. And Andre talked to Bloomberg about the impression it left on him and how the worlds of business, branding, and sports were always blended together.
We watched our parents do the work. We watched our parents walk the sites. We watched our parents go through the things they had to go through, managing, a franchise like Burger King in the early 90s, and one of the things that, stands out to me the most is like a lot of my dad's partners were Browns players, Indians players. We got to go hang out with Indians pitchers and their families.
Eanes referring there to the team now known as the Cleveland Guardians. Eanes' most recent success story is that of NFL superstar Travis Kelce. I'm Bloomberg's Justin Milliner on the Black Business Beat.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
Pizza's here.
Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
He steps to the mic with a boom, ping, ping. Wisdom sharper than a beast's fierce sting. Words like fireflies that light the night. He turns the dark into blazing bright. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, oh, the airwaves king. Shake the ground, unveils the truth where lies abound. Politics, justice, social streams. He molds the chaos into dreams. No silence here, just the sound of change. Boom, ping, ping, rearrange. Boom, ping, ping, the truth takes wing. Milwaukee's voice, let the city sing. Boom, ping, ping, hear the freedom ring. Sherwin's the king, or the airwaves king. Through the static, through the noise, he amplifies the people's voice. Boom, ping, ping, like a heartbeat's call. He's got the wisdom to break down walls. Yeah. Da, 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 da.
Welcome to the program. Today is Tuesday, January 6th, 2026. 5 years ago today, a bunch of people said Trump lost. No, he won. So stop counting the votes that say Trump won. Stop it. And then the Capitol Police were beat up a lot. And then more people came and they draped Donald Trump flags and Don't Tread on Me flags. And there were Confederate flags flying throughout the U.S. Capitol. The first time in the history of the United States, and boy, do we have a long, complicated, and oftentimes dubious history in this country. The first time a Confederate flag flew at 1600 Pennsylvania, no, not the White House, at the U.S. Capitol, was 5 years ago today. In 2022, Congress passed a law commemorating the day and celebrating the courage and bravery of the U.S. Capitol Police, several of whom died related to the stress and the injuries of that monumental historic day. This is a federal law now, signed by Joe Biden. Congress passed it. We're going to commemorate this day. We're going to give due to law enforcement that did everything they could, including and leading up to giving their lives to protect the very sacred U.S. Capitol building. That plaque, they say, is not only is it not on display, people don't even know where it is. We think that it's in storage, and let me tell you why. Because current Speaker of the House of Representatives, Mike Johnson, doesn't want it displayed. He does not want, it's a federal law now. This is not just an idea that some lefty Democrat came up with to really stick it to Donald Trump. This was a bipartisan piece of legislation that was voted on by both Democrats and Republicans and signed by the previous president, saying that displaying this plaque and commemorating what happened at the U.S. Capitol on January 6th is a federal law. Mike Johnson simply is refusing to display that plaque. So here we are 5 years later in a position that I didn't think we would ever be back in. Not only is Donald Trump back in office, but he is starting endless wars. We're going to get into a little bit more details about that, and I'm sure you guys have been paying attention to and following what is happening in Venezuela, and they took the president and his wife, which is weird. Have you guys seen an arrest before? I'm sure you have. Some of you are from Milwaukee. Some of you are getting arrested right now. Several of you are in the back of a squad car as we speak. How often is someone just arrested with their spouse? It's like, yeah, you're the president of the country and you're the corrupt one, and you did all these terrible things, and you were in charge of all the narco-terrorism. By the way, let's take your wife, too. Isn't that unusual to some of you? You all should know that gunfire has been heard around the capital of Venezuela in the city of Caracas. So things are going incredibly well after we removed their president. Also, don't be fooled by the people who are being randomly interviewed saying, oh, this is wonderful that Maduro is gone. It's so beautiful. We're so glad he was such a bad person. Because you're seeing a little bit of that. Some of those people are here in America. Here's what's rich and ironic about that. Venezuelans in America, even though they may have disliked and hated the former president, Maduro, who is in prison in New York. Oh, do you guys know about this? One of the charges that they brought up against Maduro is weapons charges, because I guess he had a gun somewhere. I need you to think about this for a second. Think about how damn ridiculous this is. They said it was something like 15,000 American troops and service members to go capture this dude and his wife. And one of the charges is weapons charges. They charge the president of a whole nother country with possessing weapons in his own country. He didn't have guns in America. Like, he had armed security, and they're charging him with weapons charges. I just want people to appreciate a couple of things. How ridiculous this is, and also how terribly frightening this is. Donald Trump has also threatened Colombia and Mexico. Said Mexico and Colombia better watch out. No one can stop him. What makes it even worse is that Congress has not seen this situation as enough of an emergency to call an emergency session to pass war crimes legislation and to pass war powers legislation. I posted a picture in the Hughes Views Facebook group, and it's an infrared still of two men in a boat. They were off the coast of Venezuela in the Atlantic Ocean. You can see plain as day on this infrared photo. And so when I talked about this a second ago, war crimes legislation, this is what I'm referring to, and there are many examples of this. So in this infrared still picture that I posted, and the picture has been authenticated, it is from the U.S. Department of Defense. It's a real photo, and it was released publicly, and when it was released publicly, I snatched it, posted it to the Hughes Views Facebook group. It's two men in a boat with their hands raised. They are clearly surrendering. You can see it plain as day that their hands are in the air. Pete Hegseth saw that video as it was rolling live of these two men in this Venezuelan boat with their hands raised. He then ordered our military to fire on them, and he murdered them. So you have literally two men with their hands in the air who were executed by our current Secretary of Defense. And that wasn't enough for Congress to say, like, hey, maybe we should come back to work a little early to, like, convene on what's happening in the name of the United States government and our people. But nope. There's supposed to be some kind of action taking place today, but I really do not have a lot of faith. Another bit of warning for you, the invasion of Venezuela is an impeachable offense. We're probably up to 90 or 100 impeachable offenses now. So in the event that the Democrats get control of the House of Representatives, it's going to be an impeachment cobbler. It's going to be so many articles flying around. Expect more military action. Expect more American troops on the ground in countries we've probably never heard of for reasons that make zero sense. At the same time, we're going to spend, mobilizing our military is like $30-40 million every 24 hours, depending upon the who and the where and the deployments, okay? But we can't afford subsidies for your health insurance? Just think about that for a second, too, because some of y'all have seen your health insurance premiums rise to the point where you can't go to the doctor. You had an appointment scheduled. You got to cancel it because you won't be able to afford it. So let that sink in for a second. But on the YouTube, if you go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device, you'll see a poll. Rhea, I'm going to trust you that you put it there because you're a very reliable worker.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it's up there.
All right. You know, I love the ladies so very much. The ladies love Sherwin, too. I love you all. I think you're all very equal. I think there are things that women do much better than men. There's something, men do some things, too, now, okay? But women can do things very good. And if we are going to engage in the equality of humanity, which I totally believe in, I think everybody should have a role and a stake in making this a wonderful society. Should women serve in combat roles? Hey, slow down before you get all huffy and puffy with me. Women do all sorts of wonderful things. Women do tough things. Women, they birth the baby. That's probably painful and beautiful. But they do many things. They can be a lawyer, or radio producer. They're athletes. They don't play professional football, though, which maybe that'll change. But should women serve in combat roles if we believe that women possess the same skills and abilities as men? Now, when it comes to physical strength, let's not have that debate, because if my big ass is on the third floor of a building and you have a woman firefighter who's 5'2" and 117 pounds, how's she going to get my big, thick, big back ass over her shoulder? We're both going to die. So I want a big, fat firefighter. I want a big, fat man. I want to cling to a big, fat firefighter man's big back and his big shoulders, not a woman. But other than that, I think women are qualified to do everything that men can do. But I wonder, for those of you that continue the fight for women's equality, and I am with you, because it does not harm me if women have the same, or in some cases, greater access to opportunity than me. My access is my access. I don't think that whatever I have access to, opportunities, employment, financial gains, whatever, if a woman has the same access, I don't think that hurts me at all. In fact, it might even empower and enrich me as a man if women have the same opportunity, right? Should they be able to, and should they be required to serve in combat roles? Now, we have 160 women who have made it to the rank of Ranger, Army Ranger, which is tough. If you're a woman Army Ranger, you shot a bunch of people in the face, probably in the elbow. You shot a lot of people. You did a bunch of stuff. So you would think that would end the debate. So on YouTube, it's a simple yes or no. And of course, the votes are anonymous. Go to youtube.com or open up your YouTube app from your smartphone or other mobile device. Search 1017 The Truth, and you can vote in our YouTube poll. Should women serve in combat roles? Because now Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is reviewing information and data and statistics on whether women should be able to serve in combat roles. So those of you that believe that women should be equal to everything, please be careful and be cautious with this. Let me tell you why. Because Pete Hegseth, in my opinion, would probably send more women to the front lines than he would men. So would love to get your opinion on that. And also, because I didn't talk about this yesterday, New Year's Eve in Milwaukee, if you happen to be, I don't know, anywhere in the city, maybe the north side, maybe the south side, maybe the east side or the west. At midnight, if you happen to stick your ear out of a window, you hear many a gunshot. Well, I want to tell you guys a story. A very good friend of mine, he regrets it. A friend of mine entertained his wife's friends from college and people that she grew up with, some of whom have never been to Milwaukee before, and they had a party on New Year's Eve. And so I'm going to take a break, come back, tell you about the experience that these women who had never been to Milwaukee before, what they thought of the gunfire orgy that is commonplace in Milwaukee on New Year's Eve. And I've got a few other details I want to share with you about that as well. So we're going to do a bit of a variety show today on the 5th anniversary of January 6th, which literally nobody cares about, but we're going to discuss it anyway for the historical pedigree of the day. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Milwaukee business owners, this is your moment. Every Friday at 8 a.m., call in to 101.7 The Truth for What the Business Is. Tell us what your business is, where you're located, and one thing you've learned along the way. What the Business is powered by We Energies, delivering the energy that powers local business. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth. Fridays at 8 a.m. on 101.7 The Truth.
Day 1, diagnosis day, the hardest day, the day you hear,
I'm sorry, this is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Sorry.
So on New Year's Eve, one of my really good friends and his wife entertained a bunch of her friends, some of whom she has not seen in a very long time. They're recently married. And some of those friends have never been to Milwaukee before. Believe it or not, if you are someone who's never been to Milwaukee before, you only have heard stuff about it. And a lot of what you have heard about Milwaukee, if you live elsewhere, especially in a larger city or a bigger metropolitan area, Milwaukee doesn't really stand out unless you know somebody that went to the RNC or you know somebody that went to Summerfest. People don't really know much about our city. And I don't blame them because we're not a big city at all. We have some big city amenities, but we have not yet penetrated other cities and other metro areas about all of the things that we offer here in Milwaukee, which is perfectly fine. So they came and they did a bunch of stuff that week after Christmas leading up to New Year's Eve. We do have a lot of music venues and lots of great restaurants and bars and lounges and all of the things, right? Weather was a little bit cold, but that's to be expected. And for the most part, because I'm communicating with him, because he was concerned, because they're having a little New Year's thing at their house. I did not go because I was sick. We're going to talk about vaccines today, too. That's going to be another exciting part of the show you're not going to want to miss. So I didn't go, and I probably wouldn't win anyway because I stay off the roads on New Year's Eve because it's just not really my thing. That's an amateur hour. A lot of people drive stupid and don't want to deal with all that other stuff. So they did their champagne toast at midnight, and then one of the ladies said, "Oh, wow, there's fireworks." And so she steps outside and she's looking up and didn't see anything. And then my friend was like, you might want to come back in the house. And then the other lady was like, "Oh, we want to see the fireworks too. This is really cool. I didn't know that they did fireworks in the city of Milwaukee on New Year's Eve." And that's when he explained to them through this explosion, like a cacophony of gunfire, that this is what Milwaukee does on New Year's Eve. And these ladies were from assorted places and towns in either Ohio, Tennessee. I think one of them was from Indiana and somebody was from Michigan, right? Had never seen or heard anything like the gunfire that erupts at midnight in the city of Milwaukee on New Year's Eve. For many, many years, if I was up, I would get my phone out and I would record it and post it on social media because it was so shocking to people that are unfamiliar with this really horrendous Milwaukee tradition. And people also forget, like, those bullets come down too, you know? And if I'm not mistaken, I think somebody was injured or somebody's house got shot up. Depending upon where you are in the city, it's terrifying that there are that many guns. And more importantly, shooting your gun in the air on New Year's Eve, it's reckless and irresponsible. It really, really is. Half of them were probably drunk. The other half were probably high. And the third half were probably drunk and high. It's just a grotesque display of irresponsible firearm ownership. And just go ahead and cross-reference that level of stupidity with the number of homicides that we have, because all of those people that you hear, all of those guns that you hear being fired off, people have those guns the rest of the year and do God knows what with them. So you have that whole scenario, which of course guided the conversation that my friend and his wife and her friends had for the duration of the evening. Why are so many people shooting their guns off in Milwaukee? And here's what's crazy. We don't even have an excuse for it. They were just like, well, people are happy that it's a new year, and so they shoot murder weapons because they're happy. Because nothing says, yay, I made it to another year, then let me bust this 45 until it's empty. You know, like nothing says jubilation like shooting at the moon and having the bullets fall down on people's Nissan Sentras, right? And so as I'm thinking way too hard about this, I look at other scenarios in the city of Milwaukee that we want to remedy, that we want to fix, that have probably reached what I'm going to call crisis level. You guys know that I'm a home ownership guy, and I want more people to own their home simply because renting doesn't make any financial sense. When you own your home, you have this piece of property that you can take care of, that you can pass on to your children, that you maybe can sell. Maybe you can rent it out. You have a lot of options when you own property. And also, if you just drive around the metro area, you will see a dramatic visual difference. There's a visual difference. You can actually see it, like a tangible difference that you can like touch from neighborhoods that are majority renters to neighborhoods that are majority homeowners. And I want more of the city that I am committed to look like the places and the spaces and the blocks where more people own their homes. Okay? But as I'm thinking deeply about this, because those women who were here, my friends' wife's college friends, they're not coming back because they know that it's worse in the summer. And they're like, if people are shooting their guns off like this randomly on New Year's Eve, yeah, we had fun in Milwaukee and all, but why would we want to come back when we know that violence ticks up? Because where they're from, violence ticks up. It was shocking to them that was gunfire and not fireworks. Because if you've never heard it before, and depending upon where you're at, it's deafening. So when I would record until people on my street started shooting. And then when I heard that first, somebody on my street has a shotgun. Not ideal for shooting in the air because shotguns have little pellets that splatter and scatter all over the place. So when I hear that shotgun on my block, I'm like, time to go in the house. Time to go inside. Why would you want to live in a neighborhood like that? Why would you want to purchase a home? Think about this for a second. In a neighborhood where something like that is regular and commonplace. And here's the thing. I don't want to discourage anyone from wanting to make Milwaukee a better place. You know, we have a lot of developers in this city that are trying to build new housing and affordable housing, and we need infill housing in the city. And I appreciate them and I support them. But then if I look at this practically, now remember, I'm coming from the perspective of someone who wants everyone, especially our people, because we have the least amount of equity, we have the least amount of assets, we are the poorest. So home ownership is a way in which we can combat some of those negative statistics that I just stated. But there's a developer named Michael M.M., who I've never met before. Heard of him. He's got a bunch of different development projects all over the city. And he is building or constructing new homes in the Imani neighborhood. The Imani neighborhood is, say, 15th Street on the east, 35th Street on the west. On the north, I'd imagine it stretches to probably Capitol Drive, right? South, probably somewhere's around North Avenue. So pure north side neighborhood. And Michael M.M. and his development company, he's a black fella. I like when black people do things because, you know, about time. Nobody wants to live there. Now, I'm going to take a break and come back. And I'm not trying to be negative on the city, but who wants to live in a neighborhood where the crime is insane, where the schools are poor, where there's no fresh fruits and vegetables and produce, there's no grocery stores, there's very little job opportunities, there's even less hope? Why would you, now this is a practical question now, and this is coming from someone who supports home ownership, but why would you want to purchase a home in a neighborhood that offers next to none of the amenities that people look for when they buy a house? You know, there's the 3 L's of purchasing a property. And it's not lactation. Those are not the 3 L's. I know you were thinking it was, but it's location. And look, I know the city of Milwaukee needs more African-American homeowners for a variety of reasons because we need more people owning their homes and paying property taxes and taking care of those properties. But for what? If you're going to spend the kind of money that you're going to spend over the duration of a 30-year mortgage, why would you want to live in a neighborhood, in a community that is rocked by gunfire, not just on New Year's Eve when your wife's friends are visiting from out of town, but really throughout the year? And all of those other amenities that make neighborhoods livable. And this is not me coming down on people that love and are committed to the Yamani neighborhood, because if you love that neighborhood, well, then I love you for it. But it is too hard for me to encourage folks to want to buy a piece of property in a neighborhood that does not offer the amenities that homeowners deserve. Take a break, come back. We're going to chat about it just a little bit. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be back shortly.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. He's the voice for the people and the community's connection to change.
It is what it is. It's taxpayers' dollars. It's like monopoly money. It's like, you know what? We can just pay our bills with this money. You know what? The homeless, they already out there. They already in the tent. I walked past the other day. They were out there having fun and singing and stuff like that. I mean, this is what I'm saying. This is the attitude. Like, you know what? We're going to just take this money, right? We'll think about this in 2 months. We'll reconvene after we pay off our bills, and see what we got left.
Yeah, Christmas coming up.
Yeah, we got Christmas coming up. Yeah, basically, yeah. And it's just like this nonchalant attitude with the taxpayers' dollars. You know what? Look at MPS. Look how much money we threw at MPS right here in the city of Milwaukee. We throwing money at these places. Like, it ain't like they don't have the funding.
The Tory Lowe Show, weekdays from 1 to 4 p.m. Live on YouTube and right here on 101.7 The Truth.
Real talent is defined by what people can do, not where they learn to do it. So by stopping at the education section of a resume, you might throw away the perfect hire. You might miss someone who has valuable skills to offer to help your business thrive right now and in the future. Because the truth is this: Skills First Hiring helps you see talent others miss, like more than 70 million stars, skilled through alternative routes. When you let their story unfold, you gain a competitive advantage, because hiring managers who start with skills are 60% more likely to find a successful hire. See the real person, complete. See what others miss. Hire skills first. Learn why it's a competitive advantage at tearthepaperceiling.org. Brought to you by Opportunity at Work and the Ad Council.
Dear employer,
my name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Raskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Deiser. I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum,
I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
My detail-oriented nature allows me to communicate complex ideas,
to break down data,
to have no fear in meeting new people.
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
Structure, routine,
and clear expectation.
Help me do my best work.
My autism allows me to have a perspective that needs to be seen and heard.
It allows me to make the world safer and improve systems in ways others can't.
It allows me to bring people's inner worlds to life with my artwork.
My autism
will bring your team important insights.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Michael M.M. has overseen $150 million in development projects across the city of Milwaukee. His MM Group LLC, a Milwaukee design build firm, has shepherded the construction of several mixed-use apartment buildings, including the 79-unit 1887 on Water, located at, surprise, surprise, 1887 North Water Street, and the 93-unit MLK Library Apartments, 2971 North King Drive. He oversaw construction of Gallery 507 and 507 West North Avenue in the Bronzeville neighborhood, and an addition for Outreach Community Health Centers, 220 West Capitol Drive. Also the owner's representative for construction of the Nature and Culture Museum of Wisconsin at West McKinley Avenue and North 6th Street, which will replace the Milwaukee Public Museum. So he's doing really big things. Very ambitious, this fella. And I think he's a young fella, too. His latest project, per this article, which appears in the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel, his latest project may be his most ambitious yet. wants to put a dent in Milwaukee's home ownership gap among people of color. I'm going to pause this right there. These are all very, very good things, and he's building a great portfolio, a great resume of development projects with some really impressive designs and architecture, and bringing some places that were very blighted and bringing them back to life. Now, a lot of this stuff is ripe for gentrification, but we'll handle that in a separate conversation. If you build the homes right now in this economy, and obviously the development plans and all the approvals likely took place some time ago when the economic outlook for America was probably much brighter, but who can afford a house right now? Seriously, like, this is a very practical question. Who can afford it? Who can afford a down payment? Everybody can't go to Axe Housing now. Who can afford to put 20% down on a $300,000 house right now when people can't afford their health insurance? When groceries are seeing year-over-year increases? When the cost of everything is skyrocketing? Oh, wait till you see gas prices. Give it about 2 weeks. You're going to be pushing $5 a gallon. I guarantee it. Oh, just no. Seriously. Trust me on this. And me driving an electric car ain't my problem. I drive a big smartphone. I can get home from work. I plug my car into the wall. Who can afford it? If one of the barriers, and there's many, to home ownership for the African-American community in Milwaukee specifically is the cost, then where are these folks going to come from? It's a really wonderful thing to have a black developer wanting to increase home ownership in the black community. But if the black people he is building the homes for to increase our levels of home ownership can't afford the houses and the down payments and the mortgages and the property taxes. I did read a couple of YouTube comments. Oh, sorry to hear about the passing of Cassandra. Longtime radio host in the city of Milwaukee. Did not know that she passed. Folks is just dropping like flies now. I don't like this. 2026 better have a lot of births, because, my goodness, a lot of folks are leaving us. The questions about why your property taxes are going up, stop asking it. Stop asking. We told y'all good and well that last MPS request for an increase in property taxes was going to make you very upset. You either didn't listen, didn't believe it, or didn't vote. You didn't listen, you didn't believe me, or you didn't vote. The people that voted for the increase of our property taxes for the Milwaukee public school system, and let me be so clear. Oh, we've given them $300, $400 million in the last 4 or 5 years. You're going to see test results get worse. You're going to see expulsions go up. You're going to see dropout rates increase. You're going to see MPS go in the total opposite direction, because the problem that the district has nothing to do with money. That money is paying the people that are working in the district, that are getting fat pensions for the rest of their lives. That's where that money is going. Well, we tried to warn you. We did all sorts of conversations here on 101.7 The Truth. We did the interviews, and we even got Colestin on the show, and he did all of the math. He's a math dude. So then to take the 5 and the 6 and divide it by 7, and you get the 32. And the property taxes are going to double, and they're going to triple, and they're triple, and double. He did all that stuff. Try to tell y'all. The people that voted for the property tax increase were essentially in one of two buckets. And demographically, it was mostly upper middle class white people. It is the upper middle class white people that live on the east side near the lake that feel so bad for these little poor black kids that these upper income east side white folks, feel so bad for you poor little blacks. Oh my God, the little blacks can't read? Yes, it's okay. I'll vote for more MPS money, even though they would never send their kids to MPS. They did it as a form of charity, and they did it because they could afford the increase in their property taxes because they saw it as them doing a good deed for you poor, illiterate black folks. No, I'm serious now. Oh my God, the blacks, look at the black kids. They're so dumb. Yes, I'll vote. Yes, I'll raise my property taxes. I can afford it. Yay. And then you had the people who work in the district or are married to somebody who works in the district, knowing that the increase in property taxes that they would receive would be offset by the salary that they are going to get because they work in the district. So you had the self-serving folks that would vote to increase their property taxes to maintain, if not increase, their current level of compensation for working in a district that we all know should be dissolved. Let's stop pretending that we're going to figure it out one day. I can't stand when white folks have that as their solution. Well, one day we're going to get it together. Are you serious? If this calamity of education was happening in Orange County, California, or somewhere in Beverly Hills, somewhere in New Berlin, or Elm Grove, the crisis would last for a single year, and they would start revamping the system that very next school year. If it's a crisis, it's only going to last for 1 year. If it's longer than 1 year, where you're complaining about dropout rates, reading performance and proficiency, math proficiency being low, if it happens for more than 1 year, then it's intentional. This is not just something that can be quote unquote fixed. There is no fix. So what they'll do is they'll tell the public, oh, the kids are doing really bad. We need more money. If we get more money, we're going to help the kids more. Aisha Carr tried to tell you that the schools that don't need the money, because there's MPS schools that are doing fantastic. There's MPS schools that have like extracurricular activities. They have AP classes. They have band. They have chorus. They have a ton of electives. It's a full complement of academic and non-academic activities, which is what a damn school is supposed to be. It's supposed to offer everything, okay? These schools are doing well. They're funded great. They've got teachers. They've got specialists. They've got tutors. They have all of that. So when we pass a referendum, this is going back to someone who had mentioned something about property taxes. When we pass a referendum that we're all paying for and the district gets more money from that referendum, guess who gets the money first? And we try to tell y'all this. The schools that don't need it. When you vote for a referendum, the schools that have everything already get more money so that the schools that need everything have less money. That's how the system is set up. And you're going to sit here and tell me that one day they're going to figure out how to get reading and math proficiency scores better? No, they're not. And they're going to ask, here's the thing, they're going to run out of money in, 26? Before 2028, there's going to be another referendum. Go ahead and vote for that one if you want to. You are going to continue to see every measurable, detailed statistic of student performance in this city decline, and you're going to be paying for it. But you're paying for the people who are overseeing it. It's going to continue to get worse. So, the next time they come around asking for money, hopefully people will remember these property tax bills and next year's property tax bill before they vote yes on another referendum. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Thank you, Truth Nation. Because of your passion, love, and support, The Truth is now a 10-time first place Wisconsin Broadcasters Association award winner.
That's what we used to always say. But like, look, they'll drop us off. They're like, look.
Ransom. Oh, you want how much for Lil Ray Ray? I tell you what.
But like, you know what? Keep him.
We do this all for you, Milwaukee. We are the award-winning 1017 The Truth, Milwaukee Black Talk.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
They treated me like family.
They're actually people that you can depend on.
They made me feel seen. They really treated me like I was a part of their family, a part of their team.
They ask how you're doing, how you're feeling.
They're just so welcoming and so sweet and kind.
It's like family, caring about another member of the family.
If you've been injured, it costs you nothing to see if Gruber Law Offices can help.
Hi, I'm Brittany Miller from Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more. Custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, jackets, hats, you name it, we can do it. Big Frog Custom T-Shirts and more is family owned and all about celebrating life's big moments. Maybe it's a milestone birthday, a celebration for your child's first goal, or that work fundraising event. We are everyone's printer. No minimum orders, affordable designs, and help straight from me and our team. We're the one-stop shop for all your custom needs. Start your project today at bigfrog.com/Mequon.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission, college and beyond. MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
I'm Angela Bassett. As a first responder on screen, I know what it means to act fast in an emergency. In real life, the same urgency can save lives, especially when it comes to a food allergy. For 33 million Americans, one bite can turn an ordinary meal into a life-threatening reaction. And too often, they don't have the one thing that could save them: epinephrine. But emergencies don't wait. And when a severe reaction happens, being prepared makes all the difference. Now, there's a needle-free option, a new way to carry epinephrine that makes it easier than ever to be ready. No needles, no hesitation. Because when the unexpected happens, the best thing you can do is be ready. Know the risk, know the options. Be ready to act. Learn more at foodallergy.org/ready-to-act.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
I ever fall in love again, a big friend, yeah. I like them cool, and kinda cocky, not too much to make it move. And try to lock me, try to take away the jewels. You cannot stop it, gotta understand the rules. I've been the type to wear the heart on my sleeve. Been the one to always choose the wrong play. Not the type to ever see me lonely. I keep my socks on during loving. In and out, baby, in and out, yeah. If I ever fall
in Milwaukee, only 27% of black people own their homes compared to 37.5% of Hispanics and 55.8% of white folks, according to a Wisconsin Policy Forum report. Michael M.M., age 38, he's a young fella, plans to build 40 affordable, modular, single-family homes in the Amani neighborhood. Amani is, I'm going off memory now, 15th to 35th Capitol Drive, which is the 4,000 block, to North Avenue, if I'm not mistaken, which is, what's North Avenue, 2200? So a good chunk of the north side. And when and there's historical heritage to the neighborhood, and I'm sure there's some black pioneers that did some stuff there in the 1800s. And, you know, it's Amani. The name is the neighborhood, which is one of the Kwanzaa things. I don't do Kwanzaa, y'all. Don't get mad at me. I'm not into Kwanzaa because Christmas is enough. So there's, some history with the Amani neighborhood. But if I am expected to be committed to an area a piece of property and, more importantly, committed to a damn mortgage for 30 years, can I have some amenities? Can I have some safety? Usually when people buy homes, it's because they're starting a family. I guess obviously single people and cohabitating people can buy homes too. But married couples, right, they want to start a family. Don't you want the best schools? Don't you want reasonable services? You can't get perfect services all the time. But for what you are going to pay in property taxes, don't you want the services to be reasonable? Now, I don't know whose fault this is. Maybe this is my fault. Probably is. I'll take the blame because I'm a responsible person. I don't even know when my garbage gets picked up. And my recycling gets picked up just whenever they want to. I think they pick recycling up 2 times a year. My recycle bin, if you go to the bottom of my recycle bin, you're probably going to find newspapers from 2018. I think you will. I just don't even know when. I guess I could call my alderman, but whatever. If you are expecting someone to commit to an area and commit to a mortgage and to stabilize a neighborhood, because we're asking a lot of a homeowner. We want them to manicure their yard and maybe do a little landscape and make it look nice, to care for the property, maintain the upkeep of the property, be a stabilizing force in the neighborhood. Don't they deserve some amenities? A damn grocery store? Opportunity, access, jobs? And so I'm not shooting down the idea, but I'm just trying to be realistic, because here's what happens in Milwaukee. Somebody has an idea that makes us feel good. We want to help black people, and we all rally around them, don't we? And then 5, 6, 7, 10 years later, we realize, hey, remember when we were real happy about that person and that idea that was going to help black people, and then 5, 10, 7, 17, 11 years later, we're still in the same position or worse? Who's going to buy a house? Who can afford it right now? Now, some of these questions obviously are rhetorical, but we're going to look back and be like, damn, we wasted a lot of time, effort, and energy on that. I think there are some housekeeping items that the city of Milwaukee probably should get squared away before we are encouraging people to buy property in an Amani neighborhood or neighborhoods similar. Because I'll tell you this much, who can afford to buy a house in anywhere, in the areas in which home ownership is low for black people, in which we want to encourage their home ownership, the people that we want to buy the houses can't afford the houses. If they can't afford the house, they can't afford the property tax. If they can afford the house and the property tax, they can't afford private school tuition to where they're going to have to send their kids, because you ain't sending your kids to North Division. You go to North Division, you can't do Division. That was terrible. Let's talk to Brother Red. You're on 101.7 The Truth. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, brother? I didn't get a chance to say Happy New Year, y'all. Hey, look here, bro. Let me tell you something. When you was talking about them guns and stuff?
Yes.
Brother, that's tradition, right? Okay? Just like fireworks, they try to stop the fireworks. How you going to stop a 200-year tradition, man? They've been doing that for years, even though it's wrong. They say, you're shooting. Man, they've been shooting guns out there for New Year's for years, man. And then you're talking about all this housing stuff. Hey, look here, they stop people from whooping their kids. They stop them from doing that stuff, discipline them. If you look at them wrong, you're going to go to jail. So we create our own problems, okay? And then we come out and say, hey, well, what we going to do? You dig a hole, and you fall in it, okay? But the black neighborhood, they don't have no rules around the black neighborhood. People come out and say, hey, I did this crime. They didn't stop me. I didn't get caught. I'm going to try something else, right? So they don't enforce that. When I was coming up in the 70s and the 80s, you wasn't allowed to run around, walking around the alleys, walking around people's property. The police would stop you, and they beat the hell out of you, right? Okay? But I'm telling you, wasn't hardly no burglaries and no what you call them things, assaults and stuff. But see, now you got all this crazy demonic music going around, and you listening to it. They cussing out the teachers, they cussing out their parents, because we let them do it, right? Okay, so we can't blame the kids. We didn't put no discipline on them, right? Okay, but when I was growing up, we wasn't cussing out teachers. We wasn't cussing out the neighbors. We wasn't doing none of that stuff, okay? And we grew up just fine, okay? But these kids today, these old devil kids running. Man, I know kids 11 years old got 25 automatics, Sherwin. So, we don't have no rules around the black neighborhood. It's just like the cavalry. After the Indians attack and kill everybody, here come the cavalry. Well, we don't need them. I mean, there's no rules in the black neighborhood. You can move somewhere, get your house broken into, get jacked. Okay. Where was the police presence? When I was growing up, they wasn't doing that type of stuff. And if they was, it was very seldom. But there's no rules around here. And the black people act like their brains are somewhere else. Hey, look here. Look, when are you going to wake up, okay? These people come, like you said, you made a good point. People promise stuff to black people, then they don't do it. Then you bring people 5,000 miles away. 5,000 miles away, you give them everything that you're supposed to help the black community with, right? So now we helping these people, we helping them, but it's one person we ain't helping, and that's ourselves. God bless you, Sherwin. I love your show, man.
All right. Thank you, Brother Red. He just said a lot of stuff and agreed with himself, and then went on to the next thing he agreed with himself about. So what I heard was this. You black savages ain't got no rules, okay? That's number one. In his day, they weren't whooping on and beating on the teachers. No. They weren't running in the alleys. Because if they did, the police would beat them. All right. You hear that, Chief Norman? Bring out some of them ass-kicking cops. And Chief Norman, you know exactly which ones I'm talking about. The white ones. Maybe that's what we need. We bring the white cops, the big ones with the buzz cuts, to bring some order to the black community. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for hour 2.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers return home to host conference foe, the North Kentucky Norse.
Draws a double, kick out to the wing. Aguilar contested 3, and he buries it. The Panthers are down by 3. D'Lo reattacking in the paint, fades, fires, drops it in. The Panthers have pulled within 6.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 7:30 on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 8 o'clock.
Where's that same devastation? Where's that same anger? Where's that same hurt for other American citizens who lost their lives to guns? When we talk about the loss of life here in America, if all lives matter, y'all got to start acting like all lives matter. I feel bad for any loss of life because it's not fair and it's not right for anybody to take somebody's life. That's not what we're put on this earth to do. I hate the fact that in this country that we live in, that violence is so rampant. Violence is the norm.
Download the new 101.7 The Truth app now. Milwaukee Black Talk. 101.7 The Truth.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
There are many times I thought, I can't do this. I mean, what parent isn't worried about? What am I not doing right? What am I not doing enough? And then I realized, wait, that's being a parent.
Don't worry about being perfect. I've had around 3 other mother figures in my life, but only one of them has taught me how a mother loves.
The greatest reward for me is he makes me better every day.
I would tell a family considering adopting a teenager that teenager, whoever it is, needs you, and they need what you have to offer.
Taylor's giving me hope. He's our son, and that is what he will always be.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. A message brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
You're listening to the new 1017 The Truth, founded in partnership with Associated Bank. Your money works here. 1017 FM, 1510 AM, WGKB Waukesha, and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 2 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Last hour, we were digging into a couple of different scenarios. The affordable housing crisis, which is very real. It does exist. And Michael M.M. and his company, his corporation, that has got a bunch of different development projects around the city. And I would call most of them very successful. But the latest one seems to be the most ambitious. The operative word in affordable housing is the word affordable. I'm not entirely sure what people do for a living, but I'm sick and tired of everybody lamenting, well, the manufacturing jobs really hurt the community. They've been gone for 50 years. And we're still just whimsical about the day in which factory jobs come back. Newsflash, wasn't nobody happy working in a factory. Can we just for a moment appreciate the fact that that mind-numbing work drove people absolutely insane, but people did it because you didn't have any other choice. If you didn't do that factory job, you starved. And if you came up here from the South, the Jim Crow South, say after World War II, 1940s, 50s, 60s, or even the early and mid-1970s, your tolerance for mind-numbing work was really, really high because the conditions that you were leaving in the South were so bad that you would have come up north to Milwaukee or Chicago or Gary or Detroit or Cleveland and done anything. Now, people have options. They have opportunities. They see all these different ways where you can be successful and make money. Problem is there's a barrier. I focus on the barrier. There's where people are, and then there's where they want to be, and then in between you have this gap. That gap is education. If, let's just say the statistics continue on their same trajectory with graduation rates being what they are, with literacy rates being what they are, with test scores being what they are, let's say there's no measurable improvement even after billions of dollars of investment. Overall, in the United States of America, we invest $1 trillion in K-12 education. And some of our best performing students aren't even the ones that were educated in America. $1 trillion is what we invest on an American workforce. And the best American workforce is from China and India, quite honestly. So if we don't have a system that is educating young people to ready them for work in the 21st century, then why are you building houses? Because if people are stuck between where they are right now and where they want to be, and if that gap, if that barrier is education, without education, there's no workforce. If there's no workforce, we can't hire you. I think for too long, people have persisted like a job is some kind of a right. Now, it's a part of dignity. It's a part of who you are as a person. A lot of times people are defined by what they do for a living, right? What's the first thing you ask somebody when you meet them? Hey, how are you? What's your name? What do you do for a living? So it's very important, obviously. But if you can't read or do math, what can we hire you for? Now, we can get you a job doing customer service or doing something like that, but that's not going to be enough money to buy a house. So until we see young people as a resource and the raw material for a future workforce where they can build, produce, and create in the 21st century, we are building houses for the wrong people. If we cannot focus on how we can get people from being functionally illiterate to productive workers in the 21st century, who are you building the houses for? age 38, plans to build 40 affordable, modular, single-family homes in the Amani neighborhood. The effort is a part of a larger project by the Community Development Alliance to create more opportunities for blacks and Latinos to become homeowners. Can somebody do a quick inventory of how many agencies, organizations, nonprofits, non-governmental organizations we have in Milwaukee dedicated to helping black and Latino people? Can we do a quick survey of those? Can one of y'all ask ChatGPT how many 501c3, C4, C6 organizations we have dedicated to the empowerment and creating opportunities for blacks and Latinos? Because here's what I'm starting to think. You know where the middle class is in Milwaukee? In nonprofits trying to help poor black folks. And in those same nonprofits that are trying to help black folks, they won't even hire some of the poor black folks to lift those poor black folks out of poverty. We've created an entire industry based upon poverty in Milwaukee, meaning we need to have poverty in Milwaukee. We need to have helplessness and homelessness, lack of education, so that these nonprofits have a reason to apply for new grants. I think that's what the hustle is. And I kind of came to that conclusion a few years ago when I saw the number of white women grew up in the suburbs, great education, decided they want to come and prey on Milwaukee's undereducated, underserved, under-resourced community. Because who's going to say no? Who's going to say no to this 52-year-old white woman with bleached blonde hair? I want to help. I'm going to use my resources, and we're going to create a series of services and counseling services and parenting services and financial planning services and childcare services to help these blacks. That's where the money's at. Because as long as you can illustrate there's a problem, then somebody's going to give you a grant. Let me give you another example on a larger scale or maybe a government scale. If I show you that only 20% or 10% of black fourth graders can read, and I'm asking you for more money so we can get that number a little bit higher so more of these kids can read even at a child's level, you're going to do it. As long as the problem exists and we can illustrate and communicate the problem, somebody will fund its solution. But there is no solution. You have to maintain a cohort of underprivileged, underserved people so that somebody can make money off of them being underprivileged and underserved. And I think we're stuck in this death loop because there was a point in time where it wasn't nearly as many nonprofits. You got some kids growing up. What do you want to do when you grow up? I want to start a nonprofit. Oh, my God, we've lost you already? Group, along with Habitat for Humanity, VIA, CDC, Envision Growth, and Milwaukee Community Crossroads plans to build 100 houses through Amani, an area bordered roughly by, I was almost right, North 20th and North 30th Streets, West North Avenue, and West Keefe Avenues. No, the neighborhood's bigger than that. The homes will be constructed on vacant lots being purchased from the city. Quote, this Amani project is just continuing our efforts to address the affordability crisis that we have and eliminating blight in disinvested communities. So if you work at, where do people even work at? Like retail? Fast food? I mean, unless you work for the district. If you work for the district, I'm not worried about you because you're probably already a homeowner. Hell, if you work for the district, when I say the district, MPS, or if you work for the city, or if you're a cop or a firefighter, you don't live in Milwaukee. If I'm not mistaken, I think the majority of the Milwaukee Police Department don't live in the city. Fire department might be a majority. Doubt it. So if you live in the city of Milwaukee currently, you're not a cop, you're not a firefighter, you're not a teacher, you're not an administrator. What else do you do? Work at Northwestern Mutual? But if you work low-level retail, fast food, you can't afford to buy a house. how affordable. If you make, what do people who make $15-16 an hour if they're lucky? You can't buy a house with that. And the reason why I'm lamenting over this is because you have an idea and you have a very ambitious young brother who's doing great, and he wants to do something, but I don't think it's well thought out, because what happens, and I've seen it my entire career. I've been doing this work a quarter century, and I've seen the same thing. It's like a script. It's like watching the same episode of Three's Company over and over and over again. It's the same episode of Different Strokes. It's the same episode of Martin and expecting a different ending. And then we look back and say, wow, that program that cost $32 million didn't work. But the point is, on the program that didn't work, somebody made $32 million. Because if you sell the idea well enough, because I can sit here and tell you, hey, Milwaukee, we have a series of issues and problems with young people and with youth. We need a community center. We need a recreation center. We need a basketball league. We need a mentoring program. Oh, mentoring is just a moneymaker. If we have this agency, this community agency, another nonprofit that we're going to start, we're going to mentor the kids. We're going to give them opportunities and options, and we're going to bring in employers, and we're going to have tutors for homework help. People would throw money at it. And ultimately, would it result in anything positive? Absolutely not. Because either kids wouldn't show up, there'd be a whole bunch of discipline issues that we never planned for. We couldn't find staff. If we did find staff, several of them would get arrested for child abuse because they'd be punching the kids in the face. Somebody would bring a gun. Cars would get broken into in the parking lot. Several of our, the young women that we may be helping in the program, 4 or 5 of them are going to be pregnant at any one point in time. And I'm not trying to be overwhelmingly negative. I'm trying to give people a dose of reality, because I think we live in this fantasy world about Black Milwaukee. If we just have one more nonprofit, the stuff I've heard y'all say about Northridge, make it a gigantic youth community center. Are you serious? We would spend more money on security in the summertime than we would see tangible results for the young people. Now, I'm over here spouting off all this stuff because I don't have a solution for it. You know what the solution is right now, to be honest with you? If you want to be successful, if you want your children to get, when I say a good education, an education that prepares them for either work in the 21st century or sets them up for further education where they can get specialized in something, you got to move. And not to the Amani neighborhood. You have to leave Wisconsin. I know Torrey used to say, and maybe it was in one of his intros, that this is the worst place or one of the worst places for a black child in the country. That's true. So that means if you move anywhere else, hell, you can move to Phoenix and you'll probably do better and your kids will do better. You can move to Fort Lauderdale. You can move to Schenectady, New York. I don't even know where Schenectady, New York is, but you probably will do better there than you will here. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. We'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Need a way to hype up your day?
This is Lorenzo.
Lorenzo! You just won $5,000!
What would you do with $5,000?
That's sweet for a couple months.
Yes!
There you go.
Yes.
Y'all just made me happy.
Stay tuned into 101.7 The Truth for your chance to be entered into the Gruber Law Office's 5K giveaway. For contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com.
Can we hold something?
Y'all holler back at y'all.
I got money now.
Day 1, diagnosis day. The hardest day. The day you hear,
I'm sorry. This is a type of blood cancer.
But day 1 is just one day. At the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society, we are here to help you move past day 1.
On day 45, I discovered an online community who shared great tips for in-treatment care.
I missed a lot of school during treatment, and LLS helped me keep up.
We are here for you. We exist for everyone fighting leukemia, lymphoma, myeloma, and other types of blood cancer.
On day 185, LLS helped me file my insurance claims properly.
Day 5,840 and counting, and I'm still in remission.
To learn more and get help on day 1, day 2, day 983, or any day, please visit LLS.org or call 1-800-955-4572. That's LLS.org, 1-800-955-4572.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
Good Karma Brands is proud to be an equal opportunity employer, providing equal employment, development, and advancement opportunities to all teammates and applicants. To learn more about careers with us, please send an email to talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com. That's talentacquisition@goodkarmabrands.com.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Buy the houses. I'm 50 years old, and when I came out of high school in 93, if you wanted a manufacturing job in the early 1990s, your last best hope was Durco, which was like an aerospace company out in those industrial parks just south of Brown Deer, or you worked at Quad Graphics. So some of my friends that I went to high school with that didn't go to college, that didn't go to MATC or 4-year college or anything, went and got a manufacturing job at Quad Graphics. They're basically retired now. So when we're still talking about this loss of manufacturing jobs, you've got something like 2, almost 3 generations of people that didn't even have the option to get a manufacturing job. And we still continue to talk about, oh, the manufacturing jobs. They've been gone for 50 years for the most part, to where manufacturing jobs were plentiful, to where if you got a manufacturing job, you could take care of yourself and your family and raise your kids and all this other stuff. Like, what about bringing in new economic opportunities? But see, you can't do that, because if you go and you shop the city of Milwaukee around to other companies and corporations and say, hey, we're a great city. We have reasonable transportation costs. Housing costs are still reasonable. We're on the lake. We got a lot of amenities. We got festivals. We got pro sports teams. We have all this other stuff. And a lot of companies and corporations might say, okay, sounds good. Plus, the city of Milwaukee can give away a bunch of different tax incentives. Hey, if you come and you build your headquarters here, if you move your home office to Milwaukee from Boston or from Rhode Island or wherever you're coming from, we'll give you a break on your property taxes. And a lot of businesses, corporations will say, oh, wow, that sounds very enticing. And then the business who might be sold on Milwaukee as far as its location and its proximity to Lake Michigan and all the amenities. We're close to Chicago, too, which I know may help in some larger corporations where they can have satellites in a much larger city. They say, okay, well, what's the workforce like? What's the level of education? If we move our corporate headquarters to the city of Milwaukee, who is our workforce going to be? Tell us about your communities. Tell us about your population. And that's where we lose them. So that's why I think that this effort, it falls a little short. While housing is a big deal and you need more affordable housing, we need people to have incomes. And there aren't going to be the necessary incomes because it's not just about the house. It's the property taxes. It's the maintenance on the house. It's all the additional expenses that still exist with renting, plus the additional expenses. Well, they're now called investments because you own a property. It's hurtful to see these very ambitious people that are trying to solve a problem, but they're doing it the complete and total wrong way. And so, do I have the solution? I do not. But I know that we've seen this story time and time and time again, and nothing seems to get better. And it all stems back to gunshots on New Year's Eve, which, as a previous caller said, that was just a tradition. LaRon says, if this is the case, then why does everybody still in 2026 get mad at their black friends and relatives for moving to the suburbs? It can't be jealousy or envy if they can't afford to move as well. I don't know. I think misery loves company, LaRon. No, here's the thing, LaRon. So if you move as a black person to the suburbs, but then criticize where you used to live, that's hypocritical. People don't like that. If you're going to move to the suburbs, then go live that life. Go live that soft life. Nobody is mad at anybody for that. But what happens is people pretend to be holier than thou. And as someone who grew up in the suburbs in the 80s and the 1990s, you're not welcomed out there. Like, there might be white people that are decent to you, but they will call the police on your black ass for breathing if they can. So you're not as welcomed as you may think. There's a culture of niceness that is a veneer of evil in the suburbs. That's what I noticed, and it's why when I had the option to buy a house, I didn't want to go back there because I saw how fake it was. It's this fake offer of peace and tranquility, and it's a veneer. But when people move away and they say stuff like, well, I did it, you should be able to do it too, that's disrespectful and it's unfair. So if you once lived in a city, and a lot of people have, or lived in a north side neighborhood or lived in an impoverished neighborhood, and you were able to, through hook or crook, move somewhere else nice and pleasant, then go and enjoy that life. But don't then think you are the same as the people out there in those suburbs to where you can join in the criticism of people that are unable to leave. That's where I think the problem comes in. It's that hypocrisy. If you're going to move to Bayside or Fox Point or South Milwaukee or wherever the hell, Franklin or Oak Creek, beautiful. I hope you have a huge backyard. I hope you have a swimming pool and big old tall oak trees, and it's just perfect and it's quiet and there's no gunshots on New Year's Eve. Then live that life. Don't say, oh, yeah, those people in the city are just savages and just animals. Don't do that. Because oftentimes we as black people, and I get it, want to separate ourselves from the worst of the worst of our own people. And we do that by showing out for white folks and telling them that, oh, no, you're safe with me. I'm not one of those kind of blacks. I've seen those conversations my entire life. If you have to relate to people by speaking negatively about black folks, then you are the problem. But nobody has an issue if you move from the central city to wherever, because I don't know why people, they think that we obsess about what other people do. We really don't, because once you go away and you disappear, people forget you. If you used to live in a city and you got a job or you got a promotion or whatever, and you have enough money where you can get a big old house somewhere else, whether it be in another state or even another city or another suburb, then go. But don't then criticize the people that couldn't leave, because that's just not fair, right? All right. Got some other stuff we want to talk about today. So I'm going to check our YouTube poll, see how we're doing. Uh-oh, ladies. Looks like you're about to get your asses shot off. Should women serve in combat is the question. With 63 people voting, the yeses are 63%, the noes are 37%. So I'm curious, for those of you that may have answered no, women should not serve in combat roles, why is that? Because they're not cut out for it, they're not equipped for it, are they not strong enough? Or is dying on the front lines in the military for your country, and there's going to be a whole bunch of Americans dying, Donald Trump is going to march so many Americans to their death? We still don't know if there were American casualties in capturing President Maduro and his wife, because they are under zero obligation to be honest with us about anything. So if you think that women should not serve in combat roles, and here's what I think about the subject. I defer to women. Because first and foremost, you don't have to join the military. But if you do join the military, then every role that is available to a man should be available to a woman, assuming that she qualifies. Now, I don't know what some of the tests are, and the speed and endurance tests and the strength tests. I'm not sure what those are. But if a woman can qualify to be a Navy SEAL, let her be a Navy SEAL. But first and foremost, joining the military is optional. But if, in my opinion, if a woman wants to join the military, then every single role, including, no role should be closed to her unless she does not qualify. And because everybody doesn't qualify for everything. Some people, when they take their tests, whatever their aptitude, they're better off being a medic or being a mechanic or being in the Army Corps of Engineers. Wherever your specialty is where you should be. No one should be limited by their gender. They should only be limited by whatever their abilities are. From NPR, the Pentagon will begin a review of effectiveness of women in combat positions. The Pentagon is mounting a 6-month review of women in ground combat jobs to ensure what it calls the military effectiveness of having several thousand female soldiers and Marines and infantry, armor, and artillery, according to a memo obtained by National Public Radio. Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel Anthony Tata wrote in a memo last month that the effort is to determine the operational effectiveness of ground combat units 10 years after the department lifted all remaining restrictions on women serving in combat roles. Tata requested Army and Marine leaders provide data on the readiness, training, performance, and casualties and command climate of ground combat units and personnel. The services are to provide points of contact no later than January 15th to the Institute for Defense Analysis. Pete Hegseth is not going to want women in combat. To the extent that it can harm a particular mission, I don't know why not. If a woman qualifies, then absolutely she should be in a combat role. Unless there are some of you that think that women are not cut out for it, or you want to use emotion perhaps as an excuse, well, I guess I'll defer that to you. Take a break, come back, go ahead and go to our YouTube, search 1017 The Truth on YouTube, hit subscribe. You'll be able to vote in our poll. Should women serve in combat? Right now, 62% of you say yes, 38% of you say no. Of those of you that say no, well, why not? The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 FM. We'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com. Truth Nation, it's time once again to celebrate excellence, passion, and the power of community at the 2nd Annual Truth Community Awards happening Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 inside the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. This awards show will be honoring the unsung heroes who show up, give back, and make a positive impact in our community every single day. we're rolling out the red carpet and showing love to those who truly deserve it. Tickets go on sale Monday, January 12th and are just $25 and include free food and exclusive Truth giveaways. Join the 1017 The Truth team for an unforgettable night of entertainment, inspiration, and community pride at the second annual Truth Community Awards on Friday, February 20th at Venue 3 in Milwaukee. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousins Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks.
People don't realize that glaucoma is one of the leading causes of blindness.
Because there are often no early symptoms, nearly half of those with glaucoma may not even know they have it until vision loss has occurred.
I was diagnosed with normal tension glaucoma in July of 2020. And what we found out at that point was I had already lost 40% of my sight. And you think it only affects people that are, 75 or older, retired, grandparents, and that's not the reality of it.
I didn't think at all glaucoma was going to affect me because I didn't know of anyone that had glaucoma, no one in my family. When you have glaucoma, you can't get back that sight that you lost. And so early detection and treatment is vitally, vitally important.
Don't miss life's most beautiful moments. Schedule an eye exam today.
National Glaucoma Research, a bright, focused foundation program, offers free resources and tips for healthy vision.
Learn how to protect your sight at stopglaucoma.org.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Pentagon Press Secretary Kingsley Wilson wrote an email to NPR that the study is to ensure standards are met and the United States maintains the most lethal military. Our standards for combat arms positions will be elite, uniform, and sex neutral because the weight of a rucksack or a human being doesn't care if you're a man or a woman. Under Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, the Department of War will not compromise standards to satisfy quotas or an ideological agenda. This is common sense. To the extent that you have to carry one of the wounded off of the battlefield, and if that wounded is a 220-pound male Marine, and if there is a woman who is a combat entry woman whose responsibility it is to carry this 220-pound Marine off the battlefield, and she may be a stoutly built lady herself of 162 pounds, expecting her to carry one of the fallen off of the battlefield, considering the gear she already has and the weight of that fallen soldier, may get her killed. Hegseth, an Army National Guard veteran with tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, opposed women in ground combat units while he was a Fox News host and author. Quote, "I'm straight up saying we should not have women in combat roles." There's going to be some people that are going to disagree with Pete Hegseth because of who he is, and he's like the worst person that could be leading the Pentagon. He's the worst Secretary of Defense that we could possibly have. And because he is saying, and it's coming from him, a weekend Fox News host. He wasn't even like an A-lister. They had him as a fill-in. And now he's the Secretary of Defense, and because people don't like his political positions, and I would be one of those people, but because he is saying that women shouldn't be in combat roles, I can see the rebellion to that. Because he says women should not be. There might be more people saying that women should be just to slight him. While my particular opinion is almost moot on this topic, because I think that if you join the military, you should be afforded any job and any opportunity in which you are qualified for. Having women in combat roles just makes sense because we do not have any idea of how this current president of the United States and commander-in-chief of the armed forces is going to use our military. So far, he's sending everything from National Guard troops to American cities like Memphis, and he sent them to Chicago, Portland, Los Angeles, threatened to send them to New York. He sent the U.S. military to guard the American-Mexican border. We know that at least 15,000 troops and servicemen and women went down to Venezuela, and we have no other inkling of idea of where this president may engage our military. We may need all hands on deck in every single combat role, including women. Women are just as patriotic as men are. There's no question about that. But I think it just comes down to ability. There are some things, and this is where I think the disagreements begin, because women don't have the muscle mass. They don't. Some do. It's some of y'all. Oh, there's some women who I could jump on their backs and they could give me a piggyback ride all the way across the battlefield, and we both would be comfortable. But then there's some where, not so much. Quote, I'm straight up saying we should not have women in combat roles. It hasn't made us more effective, hasn't made us more lethal, has made fighting more complicated, Hegseth said in a November 2024 podcast hosted by Sean Ryan. But during his confirmation hearing last year, he softened his stance, saying women can serve in combat roles as long as they meet the same standards as men. Ladies, what do you think? Whether you are in military service currently or previously, maybe you have a family member that served, maybe you never considered signing up for the armed services ever in your life. What do you think when it comes to fairness and equality? Should women be afforded combat roles? I guess I'll look at it like this. Ladies, if you want to shoot an enemy in the face, shoot him in the face real good. I'm not going to say, no, motivated lady that wants to defend her country with her own life. Like, who am I or who are any of us to tell that woman she can't do it just because she's born female? Maybe this is where the transgender conversation comes in. Make things a little more spicy, perhaps. Yes, sir, Sherwin, I would absolutely love to shoot people in the face. Okay. Well, what's your name, Private? Private Jennifer Smith. I will. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Private Jennifer. Shoot him in the face. Mao wants to know, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Is there anything GKB is planning to celebrate 1017 The Truth? Or is it just whatever? Isn't the celebration every single day that we're here on the air broadcasting 11 hours a day? Isn't that? Is that what are you expecting, Mao? Reginald says all combat operations aren't on the ground. Wars are won at sea. All right. Reggie also says occupation forces are always on the ground, but wars are, he said the same thing twice. All right. Most men cannot carry a 220-pound deadweight soldier. You could drag them, right? No? Maybe? Who knows? I don't know. I think it's a pretty Simple case. Open and shut. If women qualify for whatever the combat, and plus there's supporting roles. What about fighter pilots? Do we have any lady fighter pilots? I think ladies can fly jets. I think that you have to have, one of the requirements is you have to have 20/20 vision or better without any corrective lenses. So if you use that as the standard, and whatever test you got to pass, you probably got to be able to fly a plane real good and do like loop-de-loops. And you know what I mean? And do stuff in the plane to avoid getting your ass shot off when you're in the air. So I think the women, if they qualify, if they pass all the dogfighting tests and all the skills tests, absolutely. I think there's women in the Blue Angels. Not that those are combat fighter jets, but if a woman can control a plane, she can, whatever. It's fine with me. Locked and Lovely says, I'm curious about where the Department of War is going to find all of these men that they need. There aren't enough men to draft into service. Oh, yes, there is. Oh, yeah, there is. That's why we still have the selective service. There are, and that's what I'm worried about. That we may be stretched thin, because this is an all-volunteer military, and who's signing up for this? Let's be honest. With no clear or coherent foreign policy strategy, foreign policy in this country is whatever Donald Trump decides he wants to do. Whatever country has resources that he believes will further American interests. Whoever doesn't disagree with, or whoever disagrees with him, rather. Whoever has a regime that is not friendly to him, not even friendly to the United States, not friendly to him. Who is signing up for that? Now, I know, look, military benefits are good now, but there's also a considerable amount of risk, especially who the president is. And every president in the last, I can't tell you how many centuries, has sent American soldiers off to fight in a war that most often we have probably regretted. But if they need to, they will have a draft. And they should. I just checked in the last probably 6 months. I am still, gentlemen, if you are of a particular age, you can go and check your selective service. You still have a draft number. Now, my ass is too old to draft, thank goodness. But no, I'm still registered for the selective service, and even has the date in which I registered, April of 1993. So I have been as a part of the draft pool for the last 33 years. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
I take care of the kids, and I take care of my dad. I take care of things at work. The groceries, the cleanups, the meltdowns, the doctor's visits, the family events, mealtimes, bedtimes. I take care of all the things everyone else needs. But I haven't made time to take care of what I need.
Family caregivers are often overloaded. It can feel overwhelming and exhausting. It's no surprise that millions of caregivers experience symptoms of anxiety and depression every year. But help is available, because there may only be one you, but you don't have to do it alone. Head to mentalhealthcareworks.org. That's mentalhealthcareworks.org to learn how to get the support you deserve, because mental health care works when you make the call. If you're experiencing a mental health crisis or thoughts of suicide, dial 988, a message from the American Psychiatric Association Foundation.
Dad's gonna be far side, good.
What should I do with my dress?
Do little wiggles. The slate's coming in. What does it feel like when you're down or having a bad day?
It feels sad, like you just don't want to do anything.
All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed supporting kids' mental health?
I had never experienced players being so down that they can't even participate.
He's just in tears in the huddle. I didn't know what to do.
Teachers need tons of help.
Kids Mental Health Foundation offers educational materials to help guide conversations with our students.
It's so important that we are constantly educating ourselves.
It's the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
The Kids Mental Health Foundation has free tools and information developed by experts because kids' mental health starts with all of us. Scan the QR code or check out kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org to get started.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Happy kids heal faster, and that's why Starlight is dedicated to improving the mental well-being of sick kids across the U.S. Learn how at starlight.org.
Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Truth Nation, we have big news. Mark your calendar for Friday, February 20th, as we will be hosting our second annual Truth Community Awards at Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall in downtown Milwaukee. We will celebrate the excellence in our community and recognize the quiet warriors creating extraordinary impacts. Tickets go on sale Monday, January 12th, and you do not want to miss this night of inspiration and celebration. The Truth Community Awards are sponsored by Gruber Law Offices, Steinhoffels, Milwaukee College Prep, Cousin Subs, Venue 3 at the 3rd Street Market Hall, and the Milwaukee Bucks. Andrew, do you know how much tickets are to the Truth Community Awards? I'm curious. Is it a reasonable?
Give me 1 second. I can probably find them for you.
Okay, it should be reasonably priced. I mean, they're not $1,000, are they? Have any of you all that are listening purchased your tickets yet to the Truth Community Awards? I wonder if they were super expensive. One of y'all would have complained about it. So they're probably reasonable. And even if they are expensive, let me tell you what. We're going to give you a chance to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices during this program. So if you keep listening, you will be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices. And that will help offset the ticket cost of the second annual Truth Community Awards. I'm going to read some text messages that came rolling in at 833-212-1017, 833-212-1017. Have a couple of topics at hand. Of course, we started the program talking about gunfire on New Year's Eve, and there were some friends. So my friend and his wife entertained her old college roommates for the week after Christmas and New Year's in Milwaukee. Some of them had never been here before. Some had been here before, but during the summer months, going to State Fair and going to Summerfest and doing all that stuff. But they had never been here on a New Year's Eve, and they heard the gunfire. They didn't go out. They had a party just at my friend and his wife's house. And the women heard all of the noise outside, like, oh, wow, this is cool. There's fireworks in Milwaukee. And it turned out not to be fireworks. It turned out to be that very common New Year's Eve tradition of insane and incessant, dangerous and reckless gunfire. And then we kind of morphed into the conversation about the Amani neighborhood and needing more affordable housing, and a current developer who's got a bunch of great projects all over the city that wants to build infill housing in the Amani neighborhood, which is one of those neighborhoods where you would hear incessant gunfire on New Year's Eve. And the simple question is, who would want to live there? And that's a real question. I know some people are saying, well, these poor renting people shouldn't have a choice. They need to buy a house wherever they can afford one. No, they shouldn't. If you don't have the necessary amenities that can keep you in a place for 30 years, if you want to start a family, don't you want to live in a neighborhood that's got good schools? Don't you want to live in a neighborhood that is safe? How much is it, Andrew? $20? Oh, that's a drop in the well, because some of the people that listen to these programs is rich. I've met Truth listeners. Y'all are insanely wealthy. Yo. Zach, you all right? Zach just stood up and came out of nowhere. What you got? Whoa! Zach, why you got all that money? Zach, you selling ass? The last time I saw you with that much money, you remember where we was at. Okay, money calling. All right, put the phone away. Put your money phone away, Zach. Well, Zach is apparently buying tickets for everybody. I mean, I'm sure you get paid well as a producer here at 101.7 The Truth and as a DJ, but what you doing all that money? Did you just say that over the air? Did you go to a... Oh, you went to the shake joint for New Year's Eve. Oh, okay. Which one did you go to? I hope you didn't go to On the Border. They're under investigation out there for the freak show at On the Border. Yeah, it's human sex trafficking and all sorts. All right then, Zach, hope you had a good time. I think that I've outgrown the Shake Club. I have. Those young women there are all victims. They don't want to be up there shaking that ass. They don't want to be up there getting rained on with countless dollar bills. It's degrading. Women should not be objectified. Women should be looked at as intelligent, creative, strong, powerful humans. In fact, fellas, do not look at nor approach women sexually ever again. Look at a woman like you look at a fellow man. Don't objectify them. Hey, her eyes are up here, sir. I'm very serious now. Women are human beings that can go into combat in the military. Stop sexualizing women. And stop approaching them, too. It's creepy. If you're single and you want to meet a woman, well, too bad, because you better not talk to her, because that's sexual assault, sir. If you say hello to a woman, you probably should get the police called on you. If you slide into a woman's DMs, restraining order. Who do you think you are that you can slide into a woman's DMs? She's not asking for your advances. And I say that because if you ask a woman if she would rather be alone in the woods with a man or a bear, she's going to say a bear. Because there are women that believe that they would fare better with a wild animal than they would with a human male. Here's a question. I got this off of social media, and I found it fascinating and ridiculous at the same time. And it was a series of street interviews, and I got to take these street interviews that I see posted on social media with a grain of salt. But it was pretty extensive. They asked, it had to have been 100 women. Would you live on a planet with all women? All 100 women said yes. All of them. Ladies, would you live on a planet of all women? Yes. And then they started talking about the things they could do. We could go out at night. We could wear whatever we wanted. We wouldn't have to worry about our safety. We could live free from worry of assault and violence. Yes, it would be beautiful. And they described a utopia. And instead of listening subjectively and oh, that's terrible, women hate us, I listened to what these women actually had to say. And they felt really comfortable eliciting their fears about men. And they all agreed. It was the most fascinating thing I've ever seen. I've never seen anything like it. Asking these 100 women, would you live on a planet that was nothing but women? It was like an ideal spot for women to live on a planet with all women. Every single one of them said yes, and they gave different reasons. I could ride my bike. I could get up at 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning. If I wanted to go for a walk, I could do so. I could ride the subway, wouldn't have to worry about somebody groping me. And they kept going on and on and on. And I was like, oh my God, it's frightening that women live in a world where they are under so much threat by men. And I've talked about this on my program before. When you adjust for all other causes of death, the number one killer of women is men. That sucks. But also the number one killer of men is also men, which, I guess it kind of balances out. But then they did the same thing with men. They asked 100 men, would you live on a planet with all men? Every single man, guess what they said? Hell no. If you ask me that, you think I want to live on a planet that had all men on it, I'd be more likely to blow that planet up. What the hell? And I guess maybe that's the part that I don't understand. I love my guys. I love my male family members. I love my friends. They're great. They are the people that I count on. But do I want to live on a planet with just them, without the sweetness and the softness and the femininity of women? Oh, God, no. Because think about it for a second. If there was a planet of all men, what man would want to live on a planet with all men? Unless, because then half of those men probably would be gay. And then now, straight men may feel threatened like straight women feel threatened because of men. Fellas, I'm curious. Other than the obvious ones of you, would you live on a planet of all men? Would we get the same joy and fulfillment and sense of safety and security? Well, no, because men, we'd all kill each other. Now, I also think that women living on a planet with just women they'd argue. And they would. And they know that they would. Because a fair percentage of women have no female friends. Why? Because they can't stand them. They're catty and they're petty and they're competitive and they're passive aggressive. They give backhanded compliments. Some of the meanest interactions that I have seen, just like these knives that cut deep, is women that don't like each other. Particularly when women work together. Don't let her be younger and prettier. And I know some of y'all, oh, Sherwin, that's not true. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Ladies, if you're out with your man, you're out with your husband, and there's a younger, prettier version of you that happens to walk by, and if your husband looks at her or turns his head, you hate them both. So do I think that the utopia, let me get it out, of a planet of all women would make women as happy as they purported to be in this makeshift social media experiment? Hell no. They'd argue about more stuff than men would. I think to some extent, men would just form like camps and tribes and probably just stay clear from one another and occasionally go to war. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be back for Hour 3.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers return home to host conference foe, the North Kentucky Norse.
Draws a double, kick out to the wing. Aguilar contested three, and he buries it. The Panthers are down by 3. D'Lo re-attacking in the paint, fades, fires, drops it in. The Panthers have pulled within 6.
Scott Warris has the coverage Friday starting at 7:30 on 101.7 The Truth and the Milwaukee Panthers Sports Network from Learfield. Tip-off happens at 8 o'clock. Milwaukee Black Talk.
You don't want to be there. You don't like the work. You don't like the people. Now, there are some differences. The only difference is modern American slavery and capitalism versus 19th century. We were dramatically more primitive back then. And a slave that is able to buy their freedom is the same as the disaffected, disgruntled worker that is able to buy their way into entrepreneurship because that for them is freedom.
Listen to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Hi, I'm Vanessa Williams, and I want to share with you the role that diabetes has had in my family. I lost my grandmother at the early age of 64 due to complications with diabetes. She was warm, generous, and a constant encouragement for me to follow my heart. Did you know that African Americans experience chronic kidney disease at a rate that's 25% higher than white Americans? And we're almost 4 times more likely to develop kidney failure. Diabetes and high blood pressure are leading causes of kidney disease, which can result in kidney failure, needing dialysis, or a kidney transplant. The good news is that you have the power to check out how well your kidneys are doing and learn ways to prevent them from failing. So go to your doctor and get yourself checked out. Visit linkbylovetv.org to learn more. Get the facts, get checked, and get healthy.
We asked parents who adopted teens to share their journey.
Nathan has taught me to embrace the moment. Age-wise, I'm in my late 60s. I'm old enough to be his grandfather. Will he be embarrassed to acknowledge me as his dad? I think the most important thing we can do is let them know that they're safe, that they're valued and cared for and loved, and that they're important.
I knew I wanted to be adopted by him because of how he taught me to be the person who I am today. And it's coming from a dad that didn't expect to become a dad. And I feel very proud to be his son.
That was what he needed, and he was what I needed. Every day is full of new opportunities. That's what it's been about, realizing the simple things that it takes to make such a huge difference in these kids' lives.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care at adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
You are listening to the home of Milwaukee's realest conversations. 1017 FM, 1510 AM WGKB Waukesha and W269DL Milwaukee, a locally owned Good Karma brand station. This is The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Welcome to Hour 3 of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes. Yes, some of you may have seen a census letter in the mail. No, this is not the real full decennial count that's every 10 years. This is what they call a field test, and it's going to determine how they administer the full census, which you'll probably start getting forms for in 2029. So no, this is not some dirty, underhanded Trump trick to try and get a count before a count is necessary. But I can understand people's trepidation because there was already high levels of trust with the federal government anyway. And I don't think that this administration is making anything much better. So those of you, and it's not going to be everybody, and so don't be alarmed if your friend, your family member, your neighbor has received a census form and you didn't. They are just field testing randomly in different places, spaces, and geographic areas to field test and get the, get the forms right or get the questions right. There's going to be some different questions. The census form in 2029 is going to look a lot different, because they are likely going to, well, it depends on where we are politically. But I think that the Trump administration has made some changes to how they're going to look at legal status. So hopefully we'll have a new president by then. And it's not J.D. Vance. I'm hoping that the Republicans will be done after this. Well, I guess we'll see. So I want to give you guys some demographic information. And I'm going to make a connection here that I really don't want to make. But if I provide this information, maybe somebody else will make the same connection. And it won't be just me, because the connection that I am making is very troubling. So I don't know if you guys know or have been made aware. If you haven't, you will be soon. The Centers for Disease Control and the Department of Health and Human Services, which is headed by Robert F. Kennedy Jr., has come out with new vaccine guidelines where there were 18 agreed upon vaccines, including childhood vaccines, vaccines for COVID-19, rotavirus, hepatitis B, et cetera, et cetera. So a total of 18 vaccines. Well, with this current Health and Human Services Secretary, Robert Kennedy Jr., son of former Senator and former Attorney General and former Democratic presidential candidate Bobby Kennedy, they have now removed 7 vaccines off of this required list. And some of them are based on the consent and conversation that you have with your doctor or your healthcare provider. So we went from this stout list of 18 that were seen as requirements to stop, to slow and reduce the spread of very contagious, communicable diseases through the American population to now there only being 11 required vaccinations. One thing I can say about medical technology and health technology in the last 120, 130 years, the single thing that we can look at, other than better nutrition and people having a more profound understanding of the importance of exercise and reducing stress and those kinds of things, but the increase in human life expectancy across all groups, races, ethnicities, and income levels has been vaccinations. So if you go to like an old-time cemetery to where, people were born and dying in the 1800s, you'll see headstones where someone was born in 1898, died in 1899, or born in 1901 and died in 1904, or born in 1897 and died in 1902. Because before we had vaccines, children were dying. They greatly improved the life expectancy of children, and vaccines did that. Now, I know over the years we've had a number of conversations and debates and diatribes about vaccines, most of which I couldn't entertain because during the pandemic, when people had an unlimited amount of time on their hands, what I found is that most parents couldn't even help their kids with 5th grade math, all of a sudden became experts on viral immunology. Like, you can't help this child carry the 1, add the 2, minus the 6. But boy, oh boy, that hepatitis vaccine is going to give you the tuberculosis in the foot. Of all of the subjects that the public is not versed on, politics is number 1, health is number 2. And it shows. And the fact that Robert Kennedy has now introduced more vaccine skepticism in a country that's already sick, that already can't afford its health insurance, and then increasing skepticism of those who are already ignorant on the subject of health, on vaccines that we know in the last 100 plus years has led to an increased life expectancy of everybody, is frightening to me. And so I got to search for deeper meaning. Because as technology, it's almost like, so we're in the era of AI. You can do a lot of things with AI. I don't have to tell you all. We have smartphones that are very smart. There are some smartphones that are optimized for artificial intelligence. Like Googling now is not even Googling anymore because Google is going to give you a Gemini answer, and Gemini is Google's artificial intelligence large language model. And with all this technology that we have and how connected we all are, the best analogy I can give for how the vaccine guidance has been so reduced is telling everybody in this very modern world of 2026 where everyone is connected, everything is online, internet speeds are faster than they ever have been, artificial intelligence is changing the way we live and the way we work, the way we research. It's like telling you, hey, by the way, everybody, get a flip phone. Or better yet, just go get a house phone. Not even like a touch-tone phone. Get a rotary phone. Revising the vaccine guidance that so much time, effort, research, energy, money has gone into to create these formulas that have proven and have demonstrated they not only help children, but help our overall population survive and live longer. Revising that is like saying, screw all this technology that we have that created longer life expectancies. Let's go backwards. And so the reason I want to give you the data I'm going to provide is because there's a connection here that I don't like. I can't give you specific reasons, nor can they didn't even come out with any like medical specifics as to, hey, these vaccines, when you take them, now there's always going to be side effects. And I think this is also the other thing. We had a guy call earlier, and he said, oh, a long time ago, we didn't have this kind of crime in Milwaukee back in the 70s or in the 80s. We didn't have. Yes, we did. We just didn't have social media that could report it instantaneously. That's the difference. Back in the day, if it didn't make the paper, you didn't hear about it. There could have been things happening right next door to you, but if it didn't make the news, you would never know. There could be all sorts of problems and troubles and plagues going on, but if it didn't rise to the level of what the media was 40 or 50 years ago, you never knew about it. Now, with social media being everywhere and cameras being installed all over the place and people having camera phones and recording things and uploading things and going live on the internet, we see things happening more frequently. An example would be, back in the day, we didn't really know what autism was. We didn't really talk about, neurodivergent people. We didn't really talk about developmental disorder. We just had a name for all of those people, right? But as time goes on, we got smarter and we got to understand neurodivergence and this continuum of these different developmental disorders. And then boom, all of a sudden, it seems like more people have autism. No, they don't. We just know how to diagnose it more. So back then, we just put all the folks that had issues and problems, no matter where they were on the continuum, just kind of in a basket. And the basket was labeled something that you can't even say anymore. But as time went on and we understood more and we invested more, we had more technology to do research, we're like, holy smokes, there's a whole bunch of different developmental disorders and neurodivergent disorders that fall under this umbrella of autism. So what people are saying now is like, look at all this autism we have. We didn't used to have the autism. Yes, we did. Oh, Sherwin, a long time ago, we didn't have all this crime. Yes, we did. We just didn't receive it in real time like we receive it right now. And so you have these dubious connections that are being made because we have the ability to better diagnose the myriad of developmental disorders that exist. People said, oh, it must be all these vaccines. And it was arbitrary and it was capricious. But for the uninformed mind, that's all they needed because people already don't trust medicine. And what's crazy is the people who are the sickest, who are the poorest, who need medical attention the most, are the most skeptical of it. I think that's on purpose. Believe me when I tell you, there are powers that be that want stupid people to die. But it's too much work to kill them, and it's too expensive to lock them up, so then feed them misinformation and they will kill themselves. Now, the demographic information that I have, and I'm going to share with you when I come back from this break, is the statistics, the racial and ethnic demographic statistics of who children are in the United States. Because this is the population that is going to be most pervasively impacted by this change in vaccine guidance. I could say that the flu that is now in damn near epidemic proportions in 47 states that I just got over, and this flu, this was a monster. And I typically get the flu every year, even though I get a flu shot. It's not going to necessarily prevent the flu, but what it will do is it will reduce the likelihood that you'll have to be hospitalized. This was probably the flu that I'm over it now. Still a little hoarseness in my voice. Was probably the worst one that I ever got. And I think there are fewer people that have gotten their flu shot for whatever the reason, which has led to this current strain and the way that it has mutated and defeated and usurped the current flu shot that is available. Next year, it will be worse because as more vaccine skepticism gets introduced into populations, and then everybody has social media and they can post it. And I just saw one of my friends, like a guy that I actually know in real life, posted this thing on Facebook, and I hope he's not listening, but if he is, screw him because I'm real mad that he posted this. He's like, hey, how many of you are now getting seizures because you got the COVID vaccine? I'm thinking to myself, you probably have epilepsy. You know what I mean? Like, I got the COVID, and I never thought he was a vaccine skeptic. But now you got all these people chiming in, yeah, my foot hurts, my neck hurts, my elbow fell off because I got the vaccine. And now it's this whole Facebook thread of anybody who has an undiagnosed medical problem because they won't take their fat asses to the doctor is now saying, yeah, because I got the COVID shot. I'm never getting another vaccine ever again. Neither are my kids. That's a death sentence. You know that we eradicated the measles? It was gone. Now it's back. Do you know that the measles is so contagious that if somebody who has the measles and is contagious for the measles walks in a room, that room is contagious for 24 hours after that person leaves the room? Now imagine that person in an airport. Imagine them on an airplane. Now imagine them in a connecting flight. Imagine them going to McDonald's and touching the door handle. Imagine them shaking your hand and you shaking 5 other people's hands. This is where we're at. Take a break, come back, give you the potential impact on children with this new vaccine guidance, because I think there's something very, very sinister at play here in the United States. You're listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 101.7 FM. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com. Breaking down the issues that shape our city and our future.
Another function of white supremacy, don't teach black people stuff, because if you give us a little bit of knowledge, we'll invent something totally new. That's why it was illegal to teach slaves to read, because if we could read, then we could write. And if we could write, we could communicate. And if we could communicate, we could plan. And if we could plan, we could strategize. And if we can plan and write and read and communicate and strategize, we could overthrow white supremacy, because they've always known how fragile it is.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes, weekdays from 9 to noon.
Every child deserves a school that sees their brilliance. At Milwaukee College Prep, they believe in high expectations, strong character, and academic excellence starting as early as age of 3. MCP scholars continue to outperform their peers across Milwaukee. And the best part about it all, Milwaukee College Prep is tuition free. If you're looking for a school that partners with you, challenges your child, and prepares them for college and beyond, Milwaukee College Prep is the place. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to learn more. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers trained to keep the power flowing, engines running, and in every other trade needed to accomplish the mission. These soldiers are on the fast track to learning skills that can set them up for success at home with companies looking to hire the best. Their resumes are being built through their paid training and part-time service. Find out how you too can learn a trade profession by visiting NationalGuard.com. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
You served behind the desk.
You served in combat.
You did 4 years and got out.
You were drafted.
You gave 20 years.
You gave exactly what your country needed.
And so did you.
When you raised your hand and swore an oath to your country, when you put your name on a dotted line, you became part of only 1% of Americans who did the same. You are a veteran.
You are a veteran.
You are a veteran. Because no matter when, where, or how you served, you made a sacrifice for your country, and you deserve support.
If you're struggling with life after service, don't wait. Reach out.
Reach out to a loved one, to a fellow veteran, to VA.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Veterans Affairs and the Ad Council.
More of The Truth with Sherwin Hughes is next on 101.7 The Truth, The Truth app, and 101.7thetruth.com.
Are you ready to level up your mindset, your money, and your future? Join Coach Erica Odom, real estate investor, success coach, and published author, on the journey with Coach Erica. This month's episode airs Tuesday, January 6th, tonight at 6 p.m. and focuses on financial planning. Where do I start? Coach Erica welcomes Jeffrey Webster, real estate investor and bank manager, and Jasmine Webster, real estate investor. Tune in to 101.7 The Truth's Journey with Coach Erica live on the award-winning 101.7 The Truth. That's tonight at 6 o'clock. Learn about your money and how to get super rich. Or you can just ask ChatGPT, hey, ChatGPT, make me rich. And it'll say, okay, here you go. Follow these steps and you'll be rich in 24 hours. Keep listening to the program because very soon we're going to give you a chance to win $5,000 courtesy of 101.7 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices, because we want to make you very rich, because rich people are usually happy people. Unless they become president and then they start wars. So there's that. Don't get too rich. When you have purchased everything that consumerism will allow, including an island. Imagine being so rich that you can just point to a map and be like, yeah, I'll take that one. Yeah, I'll just buy this island and do stuff on it with people. Sometimes children, but whatever, it's fine. Being so rich that there's no longer consequences, or being so wealthy that power is the only thing left to obtain. I love talking about money and when Powerball gets to, however many millions or billions of dollars, because clearly if Powerball is $50 million, that's not enough for me to spend $2, but once it reaches $1 billion, now it's worth me spending $2 for a chance of that kind of money. I don't know if most people are ready for the level of responsibility that comes with that kind of money. I think we look at some of the problems that we may have right now that could be solved if we had a little bit more money, paying bills, having a little extra spending cash, paying your mortgage off, paying your rent, wanting to go on vacation, whatever. But that level of money is a headache that most people did not ask for. Every day somebody is asking you for money. They're begging you for money. You're going to find out about family members you never knew about. 3 or 4 people per day are going to try and sue you. You're going to have multiple conversations with your tax attorney, your defense attorney, your estate planner. You're going to have to deal with how you're going to move money here, how you're going to shift it over there. And all the while, you got to watch out for somebody stealing and embezzling from you. The number of people that are going to approach you with ideas and plans and investments is going to overwhelm you. So most people are not ready to have that level of wealth. And I know that because I see how people spend money when they get their damn tax checks. My God, some people, and it's tax time now. Oh, we are incredible when we get that damn tax check. But that is a microcosm of how people will act if they ever got the big money. So when you win your $5,000 from David Gruber, you don't got to go get no damn lamb chops and go to some restaurant and drink 15 lemon drops. What is it with black people and lemon drops? When did this happen? When did black people commandeer the lemon drop as their favorite drink? I'm blown away by this. And the other part, you guys know my curiosity about why black people have chosen tequila. Why nobody drinking tequila before? T-Pain talked about Patron in one of his songs 15, 20 years ago. Now this is all you all drink? And don't get me started on the Hennessy and the Crevassier. I swear, you blacks are just... All right, here we go. Total children in the United States, these are the ones who are going to be most impacted by the revised vaccine guidance. Now, I'm just giving you some demographic information. You can draw your own conclusion. There are 72,800,000 children between the ages of 0 and 17 currently in the United States. They are just under 22% of the population, so a fifth of the country are children. Asian, 5.6%. 2 or more races, 4.8%. Black or African American, 13.9% are between the ages of 0 and 17. Hispanic, 26.3%. White, 48.4%. The majority of children in the United States right now are races other than white. And we know that, and we've known that. So when these children get to what we call reproductive age, to where they will be having children and starting families, etc., the majority of the children, when they become adults and they progress into reproductive age, even though technically reproductive age starts at like 14 or 15, but as they get older, the majority of the people having kids in this country are going to be non-white, which is going to further accelerate the demographic shifts that exist in this country. I have another breakdown. 0 to 5. These are absolutely the most precious and the most vulnerable children of all the other age groups that we can measure. And they will be almost immediately impacted by this revised, unnecessary, and I think capricious revised vaccine schedule, to where there were 18 vaccines that were considered mandatory for United States public health. Robert Kennedy and the Health and Human Services Department have removed roughly 7 of those vaccines. When you look at children between the ages of 0 and 5, they are even more non-white. 0 to 17, 48% of 0 to 17-year-olds in this country are non-white. So we're below 50%. When you go ages 0 to 5, that ticks down a whole nother percent. That means there are millions less white children between the ages of 0 and 5. There are 4.64 million Hispanic children between the ages of 0 and 5. There are 2.58 million black children between the ages of 0 and 5. Asian, 1.02 million. American Indian and Alaska Native, 240,000. Native Hawaiian, 50,000. White, 8.64 million. 47% of children 0 to 5 are white. So the younger you go age-wise, the less white the populations are. And we are now revising the vaccine schedule for children, which we know is going to lead to more sickness and more death in children. Now, I'm not saying because demographically the country is changing. I'm not saying that. I just find it odd and a little bit eerie that we have reached a point in the United States, really in the last couple of years, where the majority of children are not white. And where it seems like the investment in youth and youth programming and in children, and even in our public schools as an example, is less and less. I think that there's a correlation there. When MPS was a majority white school district, probably in the 1970s, maybe even the 80s even, do you think that we would have these levels of reading proficiency and math proficiency if it was majority white children that weren't graduating? They couldn't do math, they couldn't read? Do you think they would have allowed that to happen? But as time went on and the demographics of Milwaukee shifted and people went to private schools and moved to suburbs and the district became blacker, student performance suffered. Is there a correlation? I don't know. You tell me. Let's talk to Al. You're on 101.7 The Truth.
Yeah, good morning. Happy Tuesday. It sounds like to me they want to dumb people down. But my real question to the listeners, this is for you people who are against vaccines. Why would you want to listen to a person who's on dope? It's almost like somebody's telling you, come jump off this bridge, and somebody like me said, you go first, I see you at the bottom, and I'll go walk the other direction. You smart, bright, and intelligent, but yet you want to speak to somebody who have dates with the dope man, just like your NPS school officials. Money, 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 coke and dope, but you don't get nothing done. I think all of them have problems with dope, fentanyl, and everything under the kitchen counter. And if you offended, by all means, be offended. Because when Friday come here and your money is gone by Sunday, get mad when you give the money to the dope man. Prior, you had talked about the inner city. I think building affordable homes is okay, but that's not going to do no justice if you have affordable projects going up, because you cannot mix a certain culture with a working class. And if these new homes are built with number 2 pine, it's not going to do the city no good anyway. And when you look at certain parts of North Avenue, like around 15th, where they're paying $4,500 for property taxes, you can go pay that in New Berlin or Brookfield and don't have no alleys and no sidewalks and don't have to pick up no garbage.
Wait a minute,
so
Al.
I think it's sort of...
Wait, you saying somebody's paying how much? $4,500 in property taxes off of where? 15th and North?
Yep. $4,500 a year for property taxes. Why would I want to spend $4,500 a year for property taxes and I can move out to a neighborhood Whereas no alleys, no sidewalks, no garbage. I don't got to worry about reckless driving, and I can live in peace. Why would I pay that? And then furthermore, they're not going to do anything to the inner city Milwaukee until it's 75% white. Because if they really wanted to change Milwaukee, they wouldn't do everything with a kibbles and bit mindset. Like they didn't pick up the leaves. Capitol was flooding all this morning because you had the snow mounds and the leaves on top of the sewers. Everybody talking money, 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 but can't nobody do anything. But we all know if it was 75% of white, and this goes for all you politicians that signing for it, y'all will be moving quick and fast. So I say to the people who are property owners, you don't have to live in Milwaukee to have peace of mind. So don't put that baggage on your shoulder. If your money is right, move somewhere where you can have peace, because it's starting to look like I can rather than I can. And it's starting to look like a hindrance. And then, Mr. Hughes, 70-something% of the people who own these raggedy properties that these building inspectors don't cite, who got eyesight like Ray Charles, these property owners are white, and some of them are city officials who is adding to the devastation of the inner city. Because I know for one thing, I'm going to move because I'm not going to live around it.
Where you going?
I don't have to.
Hold on, Al. Where are you moving to? Where are you going?
Probably Delafield.
No, not the Delafield. Don't go out there, Al. Well, you're not going to be happy out there.
I could be happy out there, or maybe New Berlin.
Oh, all right.
Or anywhere where there's no streets, no sidewalks and alleys. But you got to understand, Mr. Hughes, peace of mind is priceless. And sometimes you just want to be able to walk outside. You don't want to have to see a J. bottle, a Pamper, somebody flying through the stop sign at 60 miles an hour.
Al, you want to move away from the blacks? Is that what you want to do? You want to move away from the blackies?
I have no problem with blacks. It's the other kind.
What other kind?
It's the other kind.
What? No, what other kind? I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I say the word without getting banned?
Let's try. Go ahead.
Them niggers.
Yeah, that's...
Them the ones.
Yeah, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
And they make it bad for everybody. We keep getting grouped with them officials. You know why these officials ain't doing that?
Why?
Because they're using them as an excuse not to do nothing. I guarantee you, Mr. Hughes, if this inner city was 75% white, these officials, these building inspectors, would not allow everything that goes on. If all these duplexes was owned by blacks and they were slumlords, I guarantee what you see on these streets and how you see these houses being rent, them white people will be on them because they know they can make their money off of providing tickets. I got to go.
Oh, okay.
Y'all have yourself a good day.
All right, you too. Bye-bye. All right, now. That's cool.
Right. One call, that's all.
Now's your chance to be our one call, that's all $5,000 giveaway entry for the day. That's right. You'll be entered to win $5,000 courtesy of Gruber Law Offices. We'll take call number 7 at 833-212-1017. Caller number 7. At 833-212-1017, you'll be entered to win $5,000 with the award-winning 1017 The Truth and Gruber Law Offices. Again, number 7 at 833-212-1017. And remember, if you or a loved one has been injured in an accident, contact Gruber Law Offices today. You can visit them on the internet at gruber-law.com. For official contest rules, visit 1017thetruth.com. Call number 7 at 833-212-1017 gets entered to win $5,000, so you too can move away from the central city with your $5,000. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
Don't touch that dial. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Dear employer, My name is Phil Martin.
My name is Michael Roskovich.
Ronaldo Bird.
Zach Dizer.
I am writing to express my excitement at the opportunity to join your team.
As someone on the spectrum, I possess a unique set of skills
that sets me apart from other candidates.
My detail-oriented nature allows me to communicate complex ideas,
to break down data,
to have no fear in meeting new people.
I may communicate in ways that are different from what you are used to.
Structure, routine,
and clear expectation
help me do my best work.
My autism allows me to have a perspective that needs to be seen and heard.
It allows me to make the world safer and improve systems in ways others can't.
It allows me to bring people's inner worlds to life with my artwork.
My autism
will bring your team important insights.
Thank you for your consideration.
An autistic inclusive workplace is good for business. It's time to make a change. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/win.
Hey there, Jane Lynch here. You want to hear something funny? Too bad. You want to hear something uplifting that will inspire you? Good. Because today, I want to talk to you about Direct Relief, a humanitarian organization that does seriously good work when it counts. Fires, hurricanes, earthquakes. When disaster strikes, Direct Relief immediately shows up with medicines, medical supplies, and everything doctors and nurses need to save lives. Let's ship her out! Every day across the United States and around the world, they're making an enormous difference. If someone needs help, Direct Relief helps. No politics, no red tape. Hey, what you doing over there?
Oh, I'm packing insulin for kids with diabetes.
See, every box here is literally a lifeline for someone in critical need. So check them out at directrelief.org and donate if you can. You might just bring a smile to someone's face.
When I was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma, I had so many questions. I didn't even know that it was cancer. Now I do. It is cancer. Blood cancer. It's actually one of more than 100 different types, and they're all treated differently. Now, unlike some other forms of cancer, usually there's no tumor. You can't screen for it to prevent it, and the symptoms can look like other things, so it could be hard to diagnose. I had a fever for weeks. I was so tired all the time. I didn't feel like eating or doing anything else for that matter. And I know that this can feel scary. But if you know what to look out for, you'll know what to tell your doctor. And you'll feel more empowered to take the next steps. Like getting in touch with the people who know the ins and outs and can help with everything blood cancer related. Blood Cancer United. They work one-on-one with each person who reaches out to answer questions and offer resources. Blood Cancer United was there for me, and they can be there for you.
Go to bloodcancerunited.org to learn more.
You are listening to The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Everything is good and brown. I'm here again.
Congratulations to who? AZ, Jay-Z, Daisy, AZ. Congratulations, you were entered to win $5,000. I hope you get rich. I hope you get rich enough to move away from the N-words. I got a question for y'all. I hope you have an answer. If a white person said what Al just said, and you agree with Al, it's certain people that black people don't want to live around. Just like there are certain white people that other white people don't want to live around. Okay? If a white person said what Al said, that they don't want to live around N-words, we'd call that white person racist. But if a black person says it, we agree with them. Make that make sense. Because we know exactly the kind of people he's talking about. People that have no regard for other human beings. They have no regard for the fact that they are members of a community, and what they do, what they say, how they act, how they behave has an impact on a community. They don't care how the front yard looks. They'll throw trash everywhere. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. They don't care. Who wants to live next to that? Especially if you have pride in yourself and in your property. You don't want to live next to somebody who has no respect, plays loud music all night, loud car stereos. I must be getting old because now if I hear my windows rattle because of your car stereo, I want to call the police on you. And not just the regular police, the white ones. I don't blame you for not wanting to live around that. And also, you may be raising your children in a real particular way. To follow the rules, to be a good person, to respect authority, to listen to adults. You know what I mean? Like, you might be raising your kids in the way that we want children to be raised. You don't want your kids around their kids because their kids are smoking weed at 10. And if you don't want to be around that, that's a choice that you make, and I support you in that choice. But if you say, hey, I don't want to live around these people, but if a white person says the exact same thing, oh, you just want to segregate our neighborhoods. Yeah, they do. So why is it racist if a white person say, and they could be mean, they mean the exact same kind of black folks that we don't want to live around. I live in the middle of a black neighborhood. In fact, me and Homer live right around the corner from each other. And then Dr. Ken lived down the street from us. We all live in the same little area. And we all know the kind of black folks that we don't want driving through our neighborhoods, stopping through our neighborhoods, walking in our neighborhoods, littering in our neighborhoods. If a white person says that they racist, if we black, and you say the same thing, oh yeah, absolutely. I don't want to live next to those N-words either. Let's talk to, I feel like we may not have your name correct. Shaman?
No, my name is Sherman.
I figured it's messed up. Hi, Sherman. They typed it as Shaman.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm calling because of some of the stuff you're saying about the neighborhoods and where you live at.
Yes.
Before you bought your house, that probably be the wrong question to ask you.
You can ask.
No, because it's not, because you was brought up with manners and with respect and some character, so it wouldn't apply to you. But if you took an ordinary person and they decided, you know what, I'm gonna change my life and I'm gonna buy a house. Before they bought the house, they didn't have any respect for the community. But when they buy a house, they have respect for the community, meaning they cut their grass. They try to keep the weeds out. They'll pick up the trash in front of the yard, in their yard, and around their house. And I say all that to say this: most people that doesn't respect the community because they don't own anything in the community, and it's not enough people talking about these like with the city. They claim they got 1,500 houses they're getting ready to demolish. Some of these houses can be saved. And if a person invests their time and their money in it, instead of these raggedy cars coming up and down the street, flying up and down the street like a saucer, they will respect community. Then they would understand what it means to shovel their snow, cut their grass, keep the weeds out, cut down that dying tree that's in the yard. Then they wouldn't want anybody flying up and down the street because they have something in the game.
I would like to agree with you, Sherman, but most people, you know this, most folks don't have the time, the effort, the energy, and the patience to be a homeowner. It's more than just being a renter where you call somebody when the toilet don't work, you call somebody when the sink don't work, you call somebody when an appliance needs to be replaced. Being a homeowner is a whole different kind of work ethic that some of these folks don't have. And I can tell by the way they act right now as renters that they wouldn't be cut out as homeowners. Well, I would love to agree with you that we could make some of these people homeowners. I also believe that if somebody wants to buy a house, they will get one. They'll have the years of discipline. They'll put their money away. So I don't think that we can convert. We can't make a hoe a housewife. And there's some people that are rental hoes.
I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about just some.
Okay.
And me personally, I would never buy into the thing that they don't know how to fix a toilet. They don't know how to work on a car, but they know where to take their car to go get this $10,000 paint job, $20,000 rims, a $50,000 system, get this dent pulled out. So they find ways to get their car. They find ways to go buy weed. They find ways to go get a hair weave. They find ways. So it's just my opinion. They can find. They just choose not to, because some people would rather take the lazy way out. And again, if more people invested in the community, like instead of Jordans, Reeboks, whatever shoes they cost about $500-600. If they took the time and invested in a house, they'd have skin in the game, and then they would care about the community. They would care about the bullets flying up and down, up in the air, or shootings at nighttime. It's people that, because they care. Sherwin, trust me, I've been in prison. People care when they go to jail. You will never see a dust ball in the corner of a prison cell. Never. Never. You will never see a pee stain on the toilet. Never. But when they get out here, they'll litter. They won't take the trash out. They'll live in a house with a busted window. But in jail, they change windows. They clean the toilets. They clean the showers. They wash the laundry. They wash dishes. They cook. They clean. They do everything. Everything you do out here, they do it in there.
Huh. So how do we get them to do on the outside? Well, they have to do it on the inside because they're going to get disciplined if they don't.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. Nope.
I don't.
And a lot of people that's never been in prison don't understand. You have a choice. You don't have to cut the grass in there. You're just gonna go to the hole, but you still got a choice. You don't have to wash the dishes. You're just gonna go to the hole. There's still a choice. No matter how you look at it, there's still a choice. But people will be in there fighting over a job, Sherwin. I'm not lying to you, for a job for 40 cents an hour, not $4, 40 cents an hour. They do roofs up in there. They do catering service, the insurance company there. They build furniture. They make mattresses. They do a license plate. They do it all up in there. But when you get out here and won't work for $7.25 an hour, and then don't want to help take mama take out the garbage or clean up in front of their house. I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes. This ain't rumors.
I believe you.
Okay, man. I hope you have a good day.
All right, you too. I'm stumped at that. Oh, I know he's right. Let me say something. If you offer me 40 cents an hour, I'm going to take unemployment every time. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. Dang, Sherwin, you was at work for 5 hours. How much you make? $2. 82 cents after taxes. No thanks. No, I'm not going to. I also don't believe that you can take someone who is reckless and careless with their responsibilities, give them a house, and then automatically think and assume that they're going to be more responsible. I don't believe that. Let's continue this thought. Let me take a break, come back, and we'll continue this on the other side. The Truth with Sherwin Hughes will be right back.
The Truth with Sherwin Hughes returns after this on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. It's not just a slogan, but the way of life at Gruber Law Offices. If you've been injured, call our team today. We've represented tens of thousands of injured Wisconsinites for more than 30 years. Trust Wisconsin's own Gruber Law Offices, proud partner of your Milwaukee Bucks. One call, that's all.
It starts with a spark. At Milwaukee College Prep, they nurture that spark from age 3 through 8th grade, building scholars with knowledge, character, and confidence. 88% of their students face economic hardship, but that does not define them. At MCP, they see students' potential, and they help them live up to that potential. 4 campuses, 1 mission, college and beyond. MCP is free, high-performing, and open to all Milwaukee families. Visit MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com to enroll or get involved. That's MilwaukeeCollegePrep.com.
I'm Dr. Jasmine Zapata, Chief Medical Officer for Community Health at the Wisconsin Department of Health Services. Every year in the U.S., about 21,000 lung cancer deaths are caused by radon, an odorless, tasteless, and colorless gas. 1 in 10 Wisconsin homes has high levels of radon. Does yours? Call 1-888-LOW-RADON or visit lowradon.org to learn more. Test, fix, save a life.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Metastatic breast cancer, or stage 4 breast cancer, happens when cancer spreads beyond the breast to other parts of the body. About 168,000 women are living with it today, with Black women at a higher risk due to various factors. Research has led to treatments that help manage the disease and improve quality of life. The Everyday Counts study explores how nutrition and exercise coaching can support women with metastatic breast cancer. To learn more about the Everyday 30-day count study in Milwaukee, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu. If you or someone you know has stage 4 breast cancer, please encourage them to call and enroll in this valuable study. Again, call 414-955-8819 or email edc@mcw.edu.
It's The Truth with Sherwin Hughes on 1017 The Truth, The Truth app, and 1017thetruth.com.
The Truth is the home of Milwaukee Public Schools City Conference basketball. For the return of City Conference basketball, we have a matchup between the Carmen Northwest Eagles and the South Division Cardinals. Ooh, the Eagles and the Cardinals. Don't worry, it's just high school. The City Conference game of the week on the award-winning 117 The Truth and the Truth app and 1017thetruth.com is sponsored by Milwaukee Public Schools and presented by Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all. Oh, the name of the caller. That's what you were. Are you sure this is how you say the name, Andrew? Amen? Amin? Amen. Amen. Hi.
Yes, hello.
Hi. How are you, Amen?
Hello.
Hi. Hi. Let's say hi a few more times. Hey.
Hey.
All right, then.
Hey, shalom. This is Peace and Also 1000 Amon Gabar, ISUPK Milwaukee, under Commanding General Yohana.
All right, then. Okay. What's on?
Appreciate you taking my call.
Me too. I'm glad I took your call. Can you say your name one more time?
Amon Gabar.
Thank you. What's your question or comment?
Basically, just a comment. I was able to catch a little bit of the dialogue with some of the previous callers, and we completely understand some of the conflicts that we have in our own neighborhoods. I would just like to extend a solution,
please,
at the ISUPK of Milwaukee School. The Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohana. We have a school set up here in Milwaukee at 4221 West North Avenue, Unit 101. You can always contact us at 414-293-3869, where we go over the problems in our communities and the solution that's going to get us out of it, which we believe is a firm stance and adherence to the Bible.
Oh, you're a religious school. Christian school, obviously. Christian.
I wouldn't say no. Not even.
But the Bible is a Christian book.
Religion. The Bible is not a Christian book. That was for the Israelites. Yes.
Oh, all right. I guess I'm confused.
So we are a cultural organization.
Okay.
And we have a school that would clear up all, any kind of confusion that we have in our communities.
What grades do you serve?
And it's an open invitation. I mean, any and all ages who are looking to find their way back home is welcome through the door, so long as they are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian on their father's side. But we teach the world the truth of the Bible according to
hold on.
the scriptures.
So what if I'm 50 years old? Can I come to your school?
Absolutely. It's not a school in the traditional sense that you might be thinking of, K-12.
All right. Well, then what is it? Help us understand. Because if I don't get it, many listeners don't get it either.
Hey, no sweat. It is an organization, but we are founded on education.
Okay.
So we do the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. That's not just exclusive to, infancy, youth, young adults. And again, the kind of traditional sense that we would see it in America today or in a scholastic, environment.
But you have to be Black or Hispanic. You can't. What if somebody is listening and they're white and they really love what you're talking about and they want to attend with their children? Would you turn them away because they're white?
They could attend online, but the physical location itself, that would be exclusive to our people because our focus is for our specific demographic who is going through the problems that, some of the past callers are experiencing. So our mission is to gather our people first, solve our problems first, and anybody can, certainly tune into the classes that we have online, call into any of the radio shows or podcasts that are across the nation. We're not just located in Milwaukee. We have schools from the East Coast, West Coast, in Canada, the UK, South Africa, South America. But our agenda, again, and this is according to the Bible, is to fix the so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian community and family that we would identify as the ancient Israelites.
Is there a tuition? Is it free? What do I have to pay?
No. There's no tuition to it.
How are you funded? Where do you get your money from?
We pay out of pocket. We do everything. Some of the charters, they do have they are an established 501c3. So if they are able to get any kind of government grants, then they can tap into those resources. Otherwise, we all work very hard, 9-to-5 jobs. We pay out of pocket.
But you can't deny white people if you're getting grant funding, can you? If you're a federally recognized 501c3, you can't tell the whites that they only can be online. Andrew wants to attend.
Surprised.
Andrew wants to be in person.
You would be surprised.
Maybe I would be. I don't. Give me the name of the school one more time, and say it slowly.
The Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. We are located at 4221 West North Avenue, Unit 101.
Okay. That's it. You're right in. That's Sherman Park. I know exactly where y'all at.
That is right there. We are situated right next to the Domino's Pizza. You'll see a cinder block facade, a characteristic which I've affectionately dubbed the cinder block sanctuary.
That's where the Boys and Girls Club used to be. That was the Mardak Club, wasn't it?
I think they had it right on the corner. I think that was a library most recently, but that's no longer standing.
Well, thank you, Amen. Thank you much. We learned a lot from you.
Well, again, I appreciate you taking the call, and doors are open for all of our people, and we are definitely in the middle of some tumultuous times.
Not for all the people.
We got a lot of work to do.
Oh, yes, we do. Thank you.
For all our people. But thank you for your time.
All right. There
appreciate
you are. All right.
Shalom.
Allah hamala to you too, sir. You heard that, Whiteys. I hope you Whiteys got the World Wide Web because you're not stepping foot into that place. Did you guys look it up? It's a real thing, huh? I'm so curious. Oh, you put it on our YouTube? Okay. Let me tell you something, white folks. I wish you would try. I wish. Oh! He's got a Star of David around his neck. He's okay. Is that one? What is that on the corner? In the corner of the little.
God severed us
of the video
from
these
these
heathens. That in the classroom? Ain't nobody in there.
Why did he sever us from these other nations? These other nations are dastardly karamyala. Let me put it. And everything that they do.
Was over, but
that's why our God.
Everybody go check it out. Unless you're white, don't you dare. Thank you guys for listening. See you next time.
On Friday night, the Milwaukee Panthers